It's been early 90s.
I did not know that they had a cartoon. I was just familiar with House Party as a thing that existed, and that's basically it.
Well, the cartoon was around the high point of their career, as with every group or artist, well, once they hit that high point, release a book, have a cartoon series, a movie, and a few other things. But
Yeah.
they had the cartoon for about one, I think one or 1.5 seasons.
Hey, what's up, Prime Time on YouTube?
How's it going, Prime Time? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm was just explaining. I'm going to put out a review tomorrow. It's going to be this guy, but I'm having trouble writing it because I'm very divided on this figure. I haven't actually finished the written part. I did the full photo gallery and everything, and it's a nice photo gallery. The words are not all there yet, but I will say I have the Toy Hacks kit for him in the mail. So, like, whenever that gets here, I'm going to sticker him up, and
Nice.
I might even be able to do this tonight. I figured out how to pop his head apart, so I'm going to paint his eyes white like the original, so that they actually pop against his head.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's got one of those head setups where his eyes are like separate pieces. So if you pop the head down, there you can just like the eye sockets are hollow.
Oh, okay, cool.
And the eyes are like on pegs coming at the back, so it makes them really easy to paint because you don't have to worry about coloring in the lines. You just glob stuff on them, dry them out, and then plug them back in.
Got it. I would say in that case, is it possible to say take them out and like put LEDs in the back or do your own thing to them?
I bet. I don't know about this. I don't know if you could do it on a head this small, but
Oh, okay.
that's certainly a thing I've seen people do with figures that have this kind of head setup. It might even be possible. I don't know. I'm not an electronics guy. Maybe you can get LEDs this small, have them be
Yeah.
functional.
Well, I mean, some LEDs are actually very small compared to like the original LEDs from years ago that would have been I'm trying to think of a size comparison. But I mean now like the LEDs are like pretty small that you can fit them in like the tiniest places.
Oh, Prime Time on YouTube says you guys going to TFCon Chicago. I don't. Well, I don't think I'm going. I'm going to TFCon Toronto, but I believe our American crew might be going. Some of them.
Yeah, so they are going to be at the TFCon Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
A possibility of maybe either Mike or myself trying to join them to see what
Mm-hmm.
happens, but definitely the American crew will be there.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just I'm just thinking of the one in July myself.
yes, I was just gonna say we haven't really mentioned it as much, but we will be at TFCon Toronto, which is
Mm-hmm.
July 8th, 9th, and 10th this year.
Yeah. Oh, that's like exactly 1 month from now. We gotta come up with some battle plans.
Yes,
We
yeah,
have the
it's
space. We have the tickets. We have the tables.
mhm.
Beyond that, we'll figure it out.
Well, I do have a few ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So I know after we will discuss it. And good evening, Mr. Magnus.
Evening, gentlemen.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad.
Yeah. Oh, speaking. One last thing I wanted to say about TFCon. I just found this out today, and I think it's really funny. Some cross convention warfare.
Mhm.
There's a botcon.ca website, and apparently TFCon actually bought the domain, and it redirects to TFCon stuff.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's just kind of funny
Hmm.
because they're like, there's no Canadian BotCon, but here's information on TFCon. We have 3 conventions this year. It's just funny.
It is funny.
Yeah, but yes, geek or nerd. I'm going to need this defined.
Well, we always said the difference between a geek and a nerd is that nerds got laid.
Nothing but nerds here.
Well, I know Professor D and myself, we're kind of going over some of the details on the possible definition between the two, and I'm trying to look over my notes because I know I was quickly just writing everything down. So from what I have, geek versus nerd. So a transformer nerd would be someone who has overall knowledge on the topic, whereas a transformer geek is, let me see, which I believe is more specific into the topic.
Oh gosh, I don't know what that qualifies me as. I sure have a lot of long lists of things about this stuff in my brain that are just permanently there. This makes me think of the last TFCon. When I shared a table there with my cousin Nick, who's very much not in the sauce at all. Well, he was when he was a kid, right? And I would strike up conversations with the people who would come by our table about, the comics or the figures or anything. And then Nick, who's very good at yes-anding his way through conversations, would sometimes participate. And always, whenever somebody left, he'd turn to me and be like, Anthony, I'm going to be real with you. I had no idea what you two were talking about. It made no sense to me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that is.
He's good at he was good at faking it. You wouldn't tell, but like. So I don't know.
I got to restock the upstairs fridge. Making runs here.
Okay.
So it's whatever puts me in the category of I can hold conversations that sound like nonsense to people that don't know about the thing.
Well, a few people have commented, and they said that they believe they kind of fallen into both. As both being a Transformers geek and a Transformers nerd. But I know as the stream goes on, I'm going to try to go through my notes to get it more defined. Because I wrote it down as just like chicken scratch, and I came back to it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna remember this. I'm like, nope, I'm missing part of the chicken scratch.
Yeah, aka how I write everything. Yeah, but I'm curious what these definitions are, because I'm curious about like what it qualifies me as. It's like, if I had to stick a label on myself, I like nerd better than geek, because I know geek used to mean the person at the carnival show that bit heads off of chickens.
Why have I not heard that before?
Yeah, I'm like, I would maybe look this up again, but I'm like 95% sure that's where the word comes from.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Yeah. And I'm just like, well, I don't do that, so I'd prefer to not be that one.
Yes.
I've never bitten the head off of any live anything, so chicken, regardless, whatever it was.
So no Ozzy Osbourning it up.
That's what I was thinking. Just keep it that way.
You fell sideways. Go back in there.
Yeah. So it's like
that note,
my level of thing is I can tell you every Transformer that came out in several different lines. I can tell you every show and what happened in it to some extent, even the ones I haven't seen all of. If Jess always jokes that she's like, there's no point in anybody that you know telling you a thing this happened in Transformers because you know about it before anybody else. And I'm like, yeah, that's accurate.
Yes.
I have a giant room full of stuff, but I think that's requisite.
Yes, that is.
I don't know.
There'll be some nerds and geeks that have that, though.
Yeah. I'm just
So
like, I just know too many
having
things about
product
this stuff.
isn't a. I don't think that's a stipulation.
Yeah, that's true. You could own a lot of product and not know about the lore of the thing, whereas like I know about the lore. I consume like most of the media.
Oh, you are like one of by far the most knowledgeable as far as the lore comes of anybody that I know.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm like, I have not watched every show and read every comic, but I've definitely watched a little bit and read a little bit of everything, I think, basically. You know?
Mhm.
But I did read my first Transformers comic the other day.
Oh, what was
Oh,
it?
nice.
My daughter got an IDW one, and it's the story of the Dinobots, where you find out that they were actually created by Shockwave.
Oh, is it Spotlight Shockwave or
I don't know. It's IDW. Hang on, I have her tell me what the hell it was. She's like, you like this one, man? It's about the Dinobots.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds a little bit like Spotlight Shockwave from early like 2000s era IDW,
Okay.
because the plot of that one near the start of that they used to do issues
Hey,
called
man.
spotlights that were just like one-offs about particular
Tell her to
characters.
bring me that Dinobot comic when she gets out.
And Shockwaves was just he was going to Earth to start an experiment, and the Dinobots had a grudge against him, so they were following him. And then he lands on Earth, and they scan dinosaur modes, and they have a big fight, and then they all wind up buried in lava. You know, kind of like in Marvel.
Oh, okay. No,
Right. Okay.
this one, they were regular Autobots,
Yeah.
but they got captured, and Shockwave had transformed them into the Dinobots.
Oh, is this a monstrosity? Maybe.
Yeah, I think that may have been it.
All right, I know
And
that one.
and like whenever they were in their Dino modes, they got real feral. And like Grimlock attacked Slag in the middle of a fight one time because
Yeah,
he
I'm pretty
couldn't
sure
tell the difference between friend and foe.
Yeah, pretty sure that's monstrosity. That was based a little bit on the Fall of Cybertron video games. But yeah, I'm reasonably confident that's the one it is. See, that's the level I'm at. I can figure out what a story is if you tell me the plot a little bit.
No, it was good. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The artwork was good, but it was like mid '90s level. You know.
Yeah.
I expected it. I expected it to be more, but it was kind of basic.
Yeah. I mean, at the risk of being too much of a critic, Monstrosity was like kind of mid tier for IDW. wasn't bad. A guy named Livio Ramadelli drew it, and his art's like he's okay, but like there's better artists out there. Yeah, there's one I want to show because I just read the first issue of it. Let me go grab it. It's on my desk right here.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm slowly setting up the news for the last few days that we'll go over.
This is going to be a little 4-issue mini. I'm not sure if the second one's out yet. This just came out like the last month. It's called Last Bot Standing. And it is a distant future story starring an old hot rod. And Nick Roche, the guy that wrote and drew it, is specifically comparing it to like Old Man Logan and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's like a Western on a planet with like human-like aliens, and then Hot Rod turns up there, and then a Decepticon also turns up there. I don't know. It's just one issue in, but it's really interesting and atmospheric, and I'm interested to see where it goes. And I think it's going to be just like 4 issues. But yeah.
What is the deal with robots wearing cloaks?
It looks cool, I guess. Every character ever looks cooler in a big cloak, so.
Well, it's like I don't know if y'all watched the WFC on Netflix. and everything. But spoiler alert for anybody who's out there. When Magnus turns himself into Megatron to try and solve everything, he's wearing a cloak. Now, his fucking profile is very unique.
Yeah.
And a cloak isn't going to hide those great big shoulder pieces.
Yeah,
and
everybody's
everybody's
pretty
like,
thrilled.
Well, funny enough, I actually...
It's like, bitch, I'm not a seeker. I'm not a carbon copy of somebody else.
It's just like, who is this mysterious?
Well, I created one post
person.
Yeah, I created this one post of who wore the cloak better, Megatron from the Michael Bay movie or Ultra Magnus in WFC.
Yeah, I mean,
it's essentially the exact same cloak.
Yeah.
And the same one that Hot Rod's wearing, it's the same one. It's the exact same cloak, like 3 times now.
Yeah, maybe they just like
tonight's
share
episode is sponsored by Woodford Reserve tonight.
Yeah.
Sponsored by water.
Yeah, same over here. Sponsored by Last Bot Standing by Nick Roche in comic book shops now. Where's the there we go. There's a money shot. Cloaked Hot Rod having just transformed. And, being very aggressive towards the random Decepticon that showed up. And looking very aged.
Nice.
Well, for some reason, my camera is going upside down when I turn my phone sideways today, so I don't know.
Here, let me help you with that.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, there we go.
No, like, see, right now, I'm standing on my head. So I just don't have to keep my phone like this.
Toy Whirpa vintage reviews from YouTube. He said, "Old Man Logan's story with Hot Rod. You must be in heaven."
Oh yeah, Hot Rod's my favorite. I'm great
that
they picked him to be the star of this. Yeah, it's a hypothetical finale because they're losing the license soon, so they got Nick Roche to write this and be like, this is an end story for Transformers. It could be any continuity's end story. Like, it's no specific one, just the same way like the Logan movie worked, basically.
Right.
Oh, Primetime says, I got hundreds of IDW comics. Do you know anyone who needs them? I got lots of IDW comics. I got a whole shelf of trades over there, and I got a long box of singles. I'm good.
Well, I've read one now, so I am going to be getting into them. So off.
Yeah, well, so they had the license since like 2005, so there's a lot of stuff out there. Some of it is wonderful, some of it is terrible. Any long-running thing is like that,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like I said before, I recommend Brian Ruckley's.
Primetime also mentions that I like
the new Wreckers comic with Thunderclash. Yeah. I always talk about that one, right? That's the one I keep mentioning the plot of. I really liked the setup to that one, where they're like the A-team who also does stunts on like, who's also like stunt performers, and that's how they get to go places, because they're like, oh look, it's that stunt team called the Wreckers, and they go in and they're quietly like, all right, now that we're here, let's solve this problem behind the scenes. It's a great setup for the first story.
Cool. That's a cool concept. Nice.
And yeah, Thunderclash is the leader of them, so yeah.
So my projects this week are going to be rebuilding. Can I get the camera there? Down. Yeah.
What are we looking at? Protectobots?
There we go.
I've got
that's Ratchet.
A G1 Ratchet. I've got 2 G1 Ratchets. I'm going to make one complete one out of the 2 parts.
I've done stuff like that before, where you just Frankenstein a whole one out of a couple junkers.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I got a broken Prowler that I'm going to re-put together, and he's missing a wheel, and I've got plenty of parts here to figure those out. But this week's find, Courage, were you on last week? When I found all the bots on clearance for 50% off.
I don't think I was here. Was I here last week? I don't even remember. No, yeah, I was here.
Yeah,
You were here.
I found these guys.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
They were on clearance price, but because it was Memorial Day weekend, I got them for 50% off of the sticker price.
Yeah, and hey,
so I picked these guys up. I picked these guys up for $350 a piece, and then I went back today and tracks for 13.
Tracks, nice. And because I need to plug my own stuff, all 3 of these figures have reviews up on the news and blog section of the website.
childrenofprimus.com news and reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, and I finally got one of these. It's the new drag strip.
Oh yeah, drag strip. Going in on the new Stunticons. You know, it's a weird thing to focus on, but the thing I like most about those is their weapons. Those are some good, like, cartoon-looking zappy guns, you know?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm really pleased with the whole figure. I mean, the wheel hubs, I get that. I am going to order one of the guys on Liberated. He's got a post up where he's making the 3D printed caps that snap into it, so you don't just have the pegs showing air. I'll show you. The pegs in his wheels. Kind of.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, mushroom pegs like that.
But there's a guy that's doing them for like $8 a set for all 6. And
nice.
So I'm going to get me a few sets of those because I've got 4 sets of these coming. The Stunticons are my boys. So
yeah.
They will be displayed in all forms. They'll be robot, car, combined, and boxed. So
sweet.
I admire your dedication. Oh yeah, Primetime says I want a new Thunderclash toy. Well, a lot of people are saying Commander Motormaster, he could the rumor is that he's got an alternate Thunderclash head like in the mold. And people have looked at his base mode and they say that looks like Thunderclash's base mode, right? So it's plausible. I don't know if they're willing to do a whole exclusive commander, but apparently the tooling's there. And the pipeline this comes through is usually correct, like rumors-wise.
Have you seen where somebody has taken the Bumblebee? I don't know what studio. I don't have that one. I haven't seen them on the shelf here. But the Bumblebee Soundwave, the newer one.
Yeah, I got that up there.
He transformed into like a little squat tank.
Yeah, like a crab-like thing.
Yeah, well, you can morph that around a little bit, and he looks just like the Batmobile from the Batman series with Christian Bale as Batman.
The Dark Knight ones, yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I just have the robot mode here, so I don't have the.
But he took it and painted him up to look like Sound Blaster, to where he was black.
Yeah.
And then when you transform him into that form, he looks just like the Batmobile.
I could see that working, yeah. I mean, I already think this guy would look good in Sound Blaster colors, so getting a good alternate mode out of it's a nice bonus.
Yeah, I haven't seen one here yet. Just like, we're just now getting the second phase of Legacy. I mean, all of the first phase of Legacy. They're already finding sludge in the Midwest.
Oh, nice.
According to Liberated. I've seen people making posts and everything on them, and it looks solid. And I always forget the name of this company. DNA Designs. They make the upgrade kits. They made an upgrade kit for Sludge already, and he's got the googly eyes.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's surprised the original didn't come with that. But yeah, I guess they already remedied that.
I was really disappointed. They missed a hell of an opportunity there.
Yeah.
That was, just a blessing to that artist. And, he's not going to, he didn't come with any real accessories. The fact that they missed out on putting the googly eyes in there.
Yeah.
I just thought this would have been really cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I haven't found Skids yet, but I did manage to find Laser Prime, who I've now covered in weapons as we were talking. Yeah,
So I
really liked Laser Prime.
Yeah.
I thought he was solid.
I said at the start of this, I have a lot of mixed opinions of him. Like I'm gonna post a review tomorrow, but I'm not even done writing it yet because I have so many things to put down about it, you know. But yeah, I was covering him in weapons for some of the pictures, so I just got a pile of like weaponizer parts on my desk, and I've just been sticking them on him.
Well, Toy Warp Vintage Reviews from YouTube says I have one of those tracks I'm giving away on the channel here.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So Toy Warp, when you have a moment, send us the information on the giveaway, and then we can also share it around and let other people know as well.
Yeah, I love giveaways. I don't think I've ever won a single one in my life, but that's fine. It's fun.
And Primetime from YouTube says, yeah, it might be a Commander class toy.
Yeah. I mean, that would be nuts. You know what would be nuts and would appeal to me specifically? If they did him as Machine Wars Optimus Prime, because it was a Thunderclash repaint. I don't know who that would appeal to that isn't just like me and nobody else, but
hey, you never know. I mean, there's as we start learning of like all the different fans, like all like globally, you never know who else it might appeal to. Which is still funny how the companies, or at least Hasbro in this sense, still hasn't really understood that they've got fans of like almost 40 years across the globe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that Legacy's got. Oh yeah, go ahead. Oh, hey, no, that's something. That's not what I was expecting. Transformers Prime, Rage of the Dinobots. Okay, that's a spin-off of the Transformers Prime show.
Nice.
Right, but it's their IDWs.
Yeah. Well, they did license stuff too. I mean, they did stuff from the shows too.
It was a good read.
Yeah. So that's Transformers Prime and the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron games are supposed to be in the same universe. So they did some comics, including that one, that like bridged the two of them. So that's about like the Dinobots from the video games and what they're up to in the Transformers Prime like time period. Basically, getting messed around with by Shockwave. So
nice.
And not to give myself props, but parenting win. Yeah, my daughter is also into this. So.
Yeah,
that is a parenting win. Yeah.
But
hey, I gave my nephew some rescue bots last birthday, so yeah.
She's very selective. It's got to be Dinobots and Starscream, and that's pretty much it. And jazz. I'm sorry, she loves jazz.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, we all got our favorites, and
well, funny enough, that was one of the original when they came out with the Pretenders series. Jazz, Grimlock, and Starscream were all Pretenders.
Yeah, because I told you I'm a part of a book club that's slowly rereading the Marvel comics. I just reached the part of Marvel comics where they brought them in as like classic Pretenders.
Nice.
Yeah, there's this. I would need to like find it. But there's this great like full page thing where like Jazz, it's Jazz versus Bludgeon. It's his Pretender shell, and he tries to swipe at it, and Jazz pops up and is like, "Don't mess up my new stuff," or or he'll eat floor or dig, and then he grabs him and shoves him down. And Bludgeon, what did he say? It was like, "Oh, you prattle on way too much. Your foolish tongue betrays your warrior's pride. Perhaps I should remove both of them." It was something cool, and I just mangled it.
No, the comic books, the comic series did a way better job with at least explaining the Pretenders concept than how the toy just came out. And I mean, on the shelf, it's it wasn't appealing, but when after you read it in the comics, then it made sense.
It's funny. They keep coming up with where I'm at new reasons for the pretender shells to exist. At first they were disguises. They're like, we're gonna fool everybody, even though we're like giant humans in space armor. And then they're like, no. They're just like powered armor. Everybody that wears these gets a power boost, and they're really strong now.
Mm-hmm.
And the arc with the classic pretenders was because they all got like blown up and destroyed during the Underbase saga. And they're like, oh no, what you do is these pretender shells can heal people, so you put them in there and they're reborn. Yep. They just keep coming up with different reasons for them to exist.
Well, I mean that is the, you know, after the Underbase saga, that was the best storyline compared to the original of, like, you know, here's these 13-feet humans that are pretending to, you know, to exist within everyone else who's only like, you know, 6 feet, 5 to 6 feet.
Yeah. And, you know, props to the Japanese show too, which actually did have them just shrink down and look like normal humans when they went into their shells. So
got it. That's interesting. I've never seen the Japanese version for Pretenders.
Mass Force.
Got it.
Just opened up and jumped off of Unicron's lap. So, I mean, that's what the thump was.
Oh.
I guess he's tired. He's sitting here on top of Unicron, and he just opened up because, you know, he's spring loaded, and for some reason he just opened up. That's what that thump was. I was like, it'll just happen. He's like, I'm tired of sitting in this guy's lap. Get me out of here. But no, that's what it was. Here's my lady.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
This is Amanda.
Speaks very highly of you.
Yes.
I just heard a thump. I thought I'd come up and make sure he was okay.
Nope, it's all good. Thanks, baby.
Someone who cares, you know, they hear the thump and is like, what's happening? Let me check it out. Right.
I just shut the door and I look over there. And she's like, "Are you okay?" She's mouthing it like I don't want to be on the show. Are you okay?
Well, at some point, her and Jess are gonna have to get their own spin-off.
Yeah. Well, Jess doesn't care. She'll cut in. It's great.
Yep.
The wives of the children of Primus.
Yes.
the spouses of Primus.
Hell, we could also have the cats of Primus.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's right here.
Mine aren't allowed in my room because they like to get up here and knock shit off.
Yeah.
I have the UFC that's supposed to be Slave 1 that my cat knocked off of that shelf.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, and so it went back to the drawing board. So I have to completely rebuild it. But to do it, it's got to be taken all the way back down.
Right. Wow.
What is it? 1,200 pieces?
Good Lord.
There's the box. It is 1,996 pieces.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have I never showed you this?
Oh my God, that's that giant Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Wow.
8,600 pieces. It took me a year to build.
I believe
really?
it.
That's the standard. That's the standard one. And let me see if I can get the camera far enough where you get both of them in.
Yeah.
That's the size difference between them.
It's like the junior one and the senior one.
Yeah. Oh, that's insane.
But the little one just has a 1-person cockpit. This one actually has a 4-person cockpit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe
that's
that.
what the UFC is to scale to the Lego Man.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I
believe that. The only Lego set I built is that little Sonic one, and that took me like several days. Yeah.
Oh, that is very cool.
Yeah, that's like Titan sized, basically, right?
Yeah, I bought this thing in a dilaudid stupor while I was in the hospital on vacation. No, I work. I work very dirty. I'm a union carpenter, and so I get boils. I get boils all the time, and I just treat them like boils. Hot water, wait for them to come to a head, pop them, and go on with life. And I had one right up in my taint, if you know what I'm talking about there.
Okay. Oh dear.
And we went down to what was it called? Outer Banks. It's down in North Carolina. It's right on the coast.
Okay.
And we were down there for the first night. We got in the hot tub. There was a big storm out to sea. We were all having a good time. It was us and 4 other couples rented a big house on the beach. And the next day I get up and that thing is swelled up about the size of my thumb. And I'm like, oh, it's ready to go. Just go ahead and pop. Get this over with. I couldn't hardly sit down. Couldn't hardly walk. The next morning when I got up, it was the size of my fist.
Oh.
And my mom's an RN, so I called her and I was like, hey, I've got this boil that has swelled up immensely. It's the size of a tennis ball. What do I do? She's like, well, you're just going to have to go to the ER. They'll lance it, drain it. You just won't be able to get back in the ocean while you're on vacation.
Right.
Oh.
So we go to the ER, and the ER doctor's like, this is normally cut and dry, but that thing is tucked up under your scrotum.
Oh.
So we're going to send you upstate to this urologist because we don't want things to get cut that don't need to be cut. And he kept me my entire vacation. All 5 days of my vacation, I was in the hospital.
Oh man, I was just going to say, how soon were you able to go that next step? Because I mean, many other things would be like you have to wait for a specialist, which could be like a week or so. I'm like,
no, they
can't wait a
threw
week
me.
for that.
They threw me in an ambulance and sent me to him. And they're an hour north from where we were at.
Okay.
And so we went up there, had the procedure, and they were like, your infection, your white blood count is still way too high for us to release you. You're gonna have to stay here. Your count's still too high. You got to stay here. Well, they were giving. I have a real big codeine medication. It's not an allergy; it's an adverse reaction to it.
Right.
It's that they find other things, and so they were giving me this stuff called Dilaudid, which is a total body numb. And I mean, it's dude. If you could get addicted to a drug, that'd be a drug to be. I'm gonna tell you right now. You could have cut my head off with a butter knife, and I wouldn't have gave a damn. But evidently, during that Dilaudid stupor while I was there, I ordered this $4,000 thing.
How did you get on a computer? Like
off my phone? On my phone. The worst part of it was I did it on my business accounts. I did it out of my business account, which, it has big money drawn out of it all the time. So I didn't even notice it until I was doing my paperwork at the end of the month. And I'm like, $5,200 is missing somewhere. And then these boxes start showing up. And that's where most of my MPs came from. And this big Lego gets delivered the next month. And I had no idea I'd even ordered them.
Hey, you're in carpentry and it's construction toy. Maybe you could have written it off as a business expense.
This is true.
It's good practice.
Well, I just figured, I was expecting to spend between $4,000 and $8,000 while we were on this vacation for a week. I was planning on renting us chartering us a boat and everything else, but I was in the hospital, so I didn't get to do all that stuff. So my subconscious mind said, hey, buy some Legos, bitch.
If you can't have experiences, at least you can walk away with things.
That's right. That's right.
It's true. I mean, every time you look at it, you remember what like that entire ordeal that happened.
Yes.
I mean, hopefully you're far enough away from it in space and time that it's just like a story as opposed to a horrifying traumatic experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it was what brought me and Amanda closer together. This was our first vacation together, and we spent it in the hospital.
Well, that's a real trial.
And I was like, baby, take the truck and go back to the cabin. I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck here. There ain't no reason for you to be stuck in a hospital room. Go walk on the beach. Go play in the ocean. Go get drunk in the hot tub. Like that. And she's like, I'm good right here. And she slept in a chair beside my bed for 4 days.
Nice.
It's lovely.
Yeah, that's love right
and
there.
then, of course, I couldn't drive. And so she had to drive the 14 hours back home.
Oh, wow.
Whenever we left. Not to mention the fact that they had to teach her how to pack my wound.
Oh,
now,
man.
That don't say love. That don't say love. There it is right there, boys. I mean, when you find one like this, you latch on to it.
Yeah,
and
no
she buys
kidding.
me Transformers. She buys me Transformers.
There you go. Hey, it's funny how this like gross story became like touching before it was over.
That's right.
Mhm.
I was saving it.
But you know, that's a true Ultra Magnus story, because I just remember one of the episodes in season 3 where, you know, whatever first aid was trying to repair him, and he's like, "Don't worry about me. Take care of everyone else."
Yeah. I don't even know where to go from there. I'm like,
well, what's tonight's topic? Let's get back on topic.
Yeah.
Well, just before the topic, let's jump into some of the news.
Okay, yeah, I can always talk about that.
Yes.
I haven't been able to tell, but pepperoni has just been in front of the screen this whole time. That's why I keep looking like this. But yeah, let's see what's been happening. Oh yeah, Shattered Glass Blaster and Rewind. You know, speaking of the comics, because they're coming out with these guys, apparently right before they're gonna lose the license, IDW is doing a Shattered Glass 2, like they did their first 5-issue miniseries. Now they're doing a second one to promote these guys. You know, like Ultra Magnus and this guy and whatever.
Right.
Which is good because, you know, I liked the first one, and I'd be interested in seeing you know, where the story goes from there, because it kind of just like ended a little bit abruptly.
I picked up Shattered Glass Blur at during Pulse's big 40% off. Yeah,
I heard about that. Yeah, it's I haven't got any of the Shattered Glass guys, but like I always like the color schemes on them, and Blur in particular reminds me of like the early 2000s Transformers universe figures, because they were always like crackling with energy and stuff. So like he's got a very good retro vibe to him for me.
Well, so far my two favorites have been Shattered Glass Starscream and Shattered Glass Jetfire. They are wicked. I've got both of them here.
Oh, Shattered Glass Jetfire. I can't believe they made that, because that's a big sell, right? I mean, not a lot of people are going to get commanders based on something obscure like that, but you know, they did them, and I'm like, I admire their tenacity, you know.
Well, that WFC Jetfire is awesome. I mean, it's just flat awesome. It's humongous. It's got great articulation. It's got great transformation. But here, let me get him over here in the light. Here's that big bitch.
Oh boy, yeah. Like I've seen the regular Jetfire in person, so I know how huge that is in person. You know, I've not seen that version, but I saw the white one. So,
but the color
as soon as I saw this, I was
really
like,
nice on him.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the black. That is just sweet, and it's just like the Starscream. Him being white.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the very old things that they would do in Shattered Glass, which is give people the color schemes of their opposites. Like, so they gave him Jetfire's colors on purpose.
Right. So did they get Jetfire Skywarps being black and purple, I guess?
I don't know. Like, it was never consistent. Like, all these characters would get color schemes from different inspirations, so I'm not totally sure where they got Jetfires from, to be honest. And Calvin Carpenter on YouTube is saying, I have all of them. Of course you do. That's what you do. You have all of them.
You guys have all of everything.
Yeah. I say this with affection.
Mhm. So there's also the BotCon 2022 convention bot set reveal.
Oh yeah, these are beast boxes from 52 Toys. I've always kind of wanted to get into these, but like the opportunity hasn't presented itself. So they're this company that makes like they're not Transformers related. They make their own robot toys that change from mechanical animals into like tiny cubes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess they partnered with BotCon to release a few of them that way. Yeah, see there it is, right?
Right.
Yeah. They're all right. They've done a few licensed ones. Like they have the license to do like Aliens and Predators, so they've done a couple of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently these color schemes are just like deep cut homages to things. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind if even like TFCon did that, because I'm like, this is a different, more independent transforming robot company that just like makes their own things. So like, it's always really interesting to see like another company that's like non-Haztac just like do that and just like be original about it.
Nice.
Robot Kingdom, that's just sponsor stuff.
Yes. There we go.
Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, I hope whoever's upstairs is okay.
We've all got noises coming from the attic today.
Yeah.
Do you have a Primus up there? Maybe they're just all triggered at the same time.
I got upstairs neighbors, so I hope they're okay. They usually make that sound. Yeah, but speaking of partners, this is a Parasaurolophus, my monthly non-bot review. This is one of Jess's favorite dinosaurs. So she got this like Mattel figure of the Parasaurolophus from Jurassic World. So I decided to give it a write up and review because I'm like, I want to see what like collector-oriented dinosaurs are like. Because Jess is big into like Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. So this is just one of hers. Yeah, I got to talk about instead of talking about a fictional character at the start of the review, I just talked about a real dinosaur for a little bit.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Carpenter says, I found the movie version Ironhide and got Sandstorm Predacon from Hasbro. Oh, we're talking about Studio Series Ironhide and Kingdom Sandstorm. Or not Kingdom, Legacy. Good, I'm looking for both of those.
And let's go over to Big Bad Toy Store.
Yeah, we're gonna get. There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
I've got him coming.
Yeah,
Nice.
Such an interesting it's an interesting contrast to the Commander that they just did, because he's like a little bigger and he's smooth instead of bumpy, and he comes with those little tiny minifigures to fit in his cockpit. Other than that, it's like pretty close. Calvin says, I'll be on around 8. I'm guessing you're in a different time zone than us because it's like past 8 here.
Yeah, it's only 7:52 here, so he'll be on in about 10 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I like, this is way out of my range, but I'm like, it's interesting that they'd make the Commander, which felt sort of masterpiece-ish, and then like make this guy also as an actual masterpiece.
Well, if you can bring up the dimensions, this guy's massive.
Yeah, I think I saw a picture of him next to like Masterpiece Optimus 3, and he's like real tall.
Well, I mean, if they're going with scale, he is supposed to be tall.
Yeah, it's another sales thread on our classifieds website. That totally supported.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some more pictures of him.
Yep.
Wonder if they have one of his alternate mode.
There we go.
He comes with a big stand apparently. $268 for this figure, says Calvin Carpenter. In American dollars, I shudder to think what the Canadian price is. Though,
and from
Three
from
twenty.
Big Bad Toy Store, we also had to put 2680 down, non-refundable.
Oh gosh.
Ooh.
Well, they've had the reason people asked them, what's up with the non-refundable, and they've had a lot of people order the big masterpieces and then cancel at the last minute, hoping that they'll drop the price because they're going to get overloaded with them.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
so this way, if they order them, you already have the incentive of having 10% invested in it.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense as a business thing.
Oh yeah, I ain't mad at it.
Calvin on YouTube says price gouging.
Yeah. I don't know. Seems pretty reasonable to me. Oh yeah. More pictures. These are like official pictures of Studio Series 86 RC. This is that one designer there, Mark, who's like on Instagram just posting pictures of prototypes. Like officially. He's like he posted a figure of like a walking car mode.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, that looks funny.
Yeah. I'm like really interested in this because I always liked the Thrilling 31 and like wished it had like a waist and ankles and could hold its guns properly. And this looks like they're just doing that again and they're fixing all the things about it. So like this is like really interesting to me.
Well, Courage, to go back to the Jetfire thing, if you'd have kept going through the pictures, you remember our original 86 Jetfire was actually a Macross.
Yeah.
Which was from BattleTech and from gosh, I'm drawing a complete blank.
You mean as in the
I
cartoon?
don't remember what it's called either.
Yeah, it's from a cartoon. And
Robotech.
Robotech, yeah, from Robotech and from BattleTech, which they had in those two shows. That was called the Officer's Chariot, is what the name of that jet was. And it had what's called the half jet mode, where it has the legs and the arms, but there's no head. It's just the body of the jet. And it didn't necessarily fly, but it could jump a whole lot farther than it normally could. The new MP Jetfire has the half jet mode.
Yeah, I've heard it called Gerwalk before. Or Jerwalk.
I haven't heard that word in like so long. Even back when maybe before the term combiners, trying to either Gasalts or I don't know. I don't remember the correct pronunciation of it, but I remember that was kind of the similar word like years before they came up with the term combiners.
Yeah, I've never heard it called half jet, but that makes sense because that sounds like a real word instead of a made up one.
Right. That's from BattleTech. That was one of my first RPGs that I played, was called BattleTech, and it was using those little robots.
Yeah.
Which were basically battle suits. Cool. And the Phoenix Hawk is what Jetfire is in BattleTech. Had a half jet mode where it could turn into the half jet, or it could go full aerospace and turn into the full jet mode. And that's what we call it. Or in BattleTech, it's called the half jet. And Toy Warp Vintage Reviews said Robotech. Thank you I was having a brain fart. I couldn't think of it for nothing.
Yeah, Robotech was the show. BattleTech was the game, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yeah, I think only once I don't recall if it was in season 1, but once in season 2, where the Seekers transformed and did the half robot, half jet mode for a few seconds.
Yeah, I think Skyfire did that once too.
Yep.
Yeah, when he was going to crash.
Yes.
He was coming down. He got knocked out of the sky, and he was coming in, and he extended his legs forward and was in the half jet mode just to blast himself back up off the ground.
Yeah, it's too bad the animators never really focused on that style, especially for the Seekers or for Jetfire, Skyfire within the series. Like, it's just they barely like touched on that.
Wonder if it was a copyright thing. The reason that
that's true.
Skyfire was so heavily redesigned was because of Macross. Like, they didn't want to promote a Macross figure in Japan, so they had to rename him Skyfire and make him particularly non-toy accurate. Like, that was how they got him on the show, basically.
Right.
And Joe Long from Facebook, I guess he's talking back about where we were talking about the price for the new MP Jetfire. It's about the same cost as Phoenix, and thankfully less than MP44, which was yikes.
Yeah. God, what was that? I think it was like 600 Canadian after all was said and done for MP44. I don't quite remember. I did run the numbers at one point because I was like, this looks nice. And then once I actually saw the finished thing, I was like, well, okay.
After the conversion and shipping and then the possible import tax.
Yeah, I was just like, I cannot do this. Yeah. Oh, more.
Oh, so back to RC.
Yeah.
Yes.
See if there's any more of the. There was a couple really good photos in that Instagram post. I hope they get. I hope they run.
That's always funny.
Yeah. Oh, they're like, hey, it transforms a little bit more. Yeah. There was like one of her pose that looked really good. Yeah, that's one of them. They were showing off the fact that she has like a waist joint and ankle tilts now. And I'm like, it looks nice. Pretty good. They gave her a new head too, apparently. It got cut off. There we go. Yeah. I'm like looking forward to this one. It looks like I wasn't expecting it to look this good in person, but these pictures, I'm like, I'm into it,
Yeah, there
we go.
They've redone Nicey, which is one of the breast transformers. They redid her with RC's head on her. And they're running her as a totally different sculpt. It's the exact same one that I've got, but it's going to have the RC head because I've got that on pre-order as well too.
Okay.
I think that one come from Zeta Toys. I'd have to look through my emails and find out where I found her at.
Yeah, and that's the original there that they started with before they retooled her. So they changed a lot of stuff.
I like the black accents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which they got rid of for the new one in the name of tune accuracy. But
any more images? Oh, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's all of them. I remember the Instagram post.
Okay.
Oh yeah, not Transformers, but GoBots. My puzzler
GoBots
this week.
Oh, nice.
I haven't
Nice.
Who's in the box?
It's Puzzler. It's Puzzler GoBot Combiner.
Yeah.
Stars.
Classic puzzler.
Yeah. Like ages ago on the AllSpark, somebody who was not a GoBots guy but a Transformers guy posted a detailed review of Puzzler, and I've always liked him since then, just because of what a crazy combiner he is.
Well, the fact that everything is contained.
Yeah.
There's no extra fist, there's no extra head, there's no feet. Everything is contained in the bots themselves, and they still transform and look great in their own alt mode. They look great in their vehicle mode, and they look really good as a combiner.
Yep, that is true.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Rise of the Beasts toys. Yeah. I guess they're coming out with more gimmick toys. I hope we get to the point in this news where we've shown a picture of that transforming mask that just got revealed.
Transforming mask. I guess I saw that.
Yeah. Because I'm like, that's crazy, but I like that because it reminds me of all the old transforming items and accessories they'd make back in Generation 1.
Actually, let me see. I think it's not there. I did see the image of the transforming mask. But there was someone asking about Holiday Optimus Prime, and like, what holiday are they referring to?
Gosh, I don't know. This is new to me. What does it say?
Yeah, actually, that's just came out like yesterday.
Yeah.
Or sorry, today.
That explains it. Whenever stuff comes out on Saturdays and
What's up,
Sundays.
Calvin?
So
Good evening, Calvin.
no means no. That picture right there, no.
Yeah.
If that's in the movie, I'm not watching it. That is garbage.
I'll tell you right now, though, that's not what he looks like in the movie. That is a piece of concept art from Transformers: The Last Night that they didn't wind up going with. And whenever they show like articles about Rise of the Beast, because they don't have any pictures yet, they always run that concept art. And people are like, is that what they're going to look like? And it's like, no, that's not what they're going to look like. That's concept art from The Last Night. Yeah.
I don't believe you at this point.
Believe it.
No,
I remember when that art came out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And TF Collect says Studio Series 86 RC looks like a retool of Thrilling 30 RC. Yeah, that is. Which is what War for Cybertron RC should have been from the start. I like War for Cybertron RC, but I am like, this one looks better. Like, I don't think this one was bad either. Ooh, I just can't see because of the bloom lighting. Wait. There we go. Yeah. Which I know, I liked this one too, but like I wouldn't say no to a Thrilling 30 retool because I really liked that one. So
I don't know. I think she's going to peg Warren.
maybe, but
I don't think that she will, because there's so many people that just mass buy the fembots.
Really,
I think there's going to be certain areas that she's going to peg Warm.
Yeah,
but she's going to hit hard on the internet, and I know she will. They all always do. There were people that were buying that Cross the Galaxy with Lifeline and Ratchet.
Yeah.
For her, and selling Ratchet online.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why I don't think she'll be a peg warmer. But in certain areas.
The only one that's gonna sell is the one from the movie version, because yesterday I went into Target. I wasn't expecting to see this figure.
Mm-hmm.
And when I turned around, Ironhide was there and RC should have been there. So the Target employee took the RC. And that's how I know that it's back to the stupid games again. They don't want Ironhide. And I can show you the figure right here. I got it. And it was a shocker to me. Right here.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. Target employees are actually getting the figures and selling them online. Yep. And then I got this guy right here too today.
Oh yeah, Sandstorm.
Yeah.
And yet another case of a.
See, he's shelf forming here. Him and the retool of Cheetor. I can't think what his name is.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler. Him and Nightcrawler are all over the shelves here. All we got. Calvin, you weren't here earlier. Look what I finally got this weekend.
Drag strip?
I finally got drag strip.
Nice.
I found one with a busted box and one in a box. There he is.
Yep, that is a good thing. You better get him now because. Okay. So that means that Wave 2 is coming out.
Yes, puts me closer to getting my Tarantulas for my Beast Wars collection.
Nice.
There's people on Liberated, Calvin, that have been posting pictures of sludge from the Midwest.
We ain't seeing them up here because Minnesota, we have people that in Target, they like to steal figures.
Yeah. Ohio and Illinois had positive IDs of him, buying them and showing pictures of him. But they're the only ones that I've seen. Nobody in Florida. I've got contacts in Florida have seen him. Nobody on the West Coast have seen them.
Ooh, so Illinois, that's by me then. Well, they're 8 hours away from me. So
I'm in Indiana. I'm about 8 hours away too. And that's
so
what I hunting today, and that's when I found drag strip, and I was like, still score.
nice.
Apropos of nothing, just because I've been compulsively doing this entire time. Laser Prime's base and the robot himself are now just completely covered with weaponizer bits. So I've just been sticking them on this whole time. Well, he's got a lot of weaponizer ports on him, and I happen to have a lot of weaponizers, so he just like
nice
stuff on his shoulders, stuff on his arms, stuff on his legs, guns everywhere on the base. I don't know, it's fun. He has like 1 million ports on purpose.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, so, am I a geek or a nerd? Which one is the one where I'm like, if I'm doing anything and my hands are free, I'll be picking up robots and doing stuff with them?
Yes.
Man, the world we live in, man, just the people that's around us and these stores, they just let stuff
Guys,
like
I gotta
this
check
happen.
out just for a second. I'll be back. I gotta make a couple of phone calls. That was business, so I will be back here in just shortly.
No
All
problem.
right, cool.
Home slice.
All right, bye.
All right. Calvin, do you identify as a geek or a nerd when it comes to Transformers?
I don't know, man. It's like I'm in between. So I was kind of shocked when I seen Ironhide. I kind of flipped out a little bit. Just like Zelda, when you find an item, you hold up in the air. I was like that. So I don't know. That's like a geek or nerd. I don't know. I think I'm just a geek, man. I don't know.
Once I determine what the difference is, I'll be able to identify what I qualify as. Whatever it is, it's terminal for me.
Well, I would say like a nerd knows everything about certain things, and then a geek will just freak out about it because he found it. That's the difference.
I don't know. Under those definitions, maybe I'm the nerd instead of the geek, because my whole thing is just knowing way too much about this stuff instead of like useful things like I don't know, accounting or physics or something.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to step away just for 2 minutes. Now, within that time, I'm looking over my notes so I can give the exact definition of what we classify for nerd and or for geek.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So you guys can chat for 2 minutes.
Gotta go through his notes.
It feels like a homework assignment. So,
yeah, I don't know about that MP Skyfire, man. That's a little too pricey.
Yeah, I heard he's huge, and that's part of it. Like there's comparisons with like Masterpiece Optimus 3. So he's like really big at least.
But the question of it is it worth the $268?
I don't know. See, I'm not a Masterpiece guy, but I look at the Commander and I'm like, doesn't that sort of do everything that the other one does for like a fraction of that?
Right.
Be really big, have all the features.
It kind of raised a lot of questions. So if you really look at it, it is a different sculpt, but at the same time, it's doing the same thing. And I'm just sitting here like, you could have added more firepower, missiles, and other things. So,
yeah, it seems like his whole selling point is just being very large and very tune accurate.
I think what it is, we're buying the name and not the figure.
Yeah, because I'm going to say, like, if you're a Masterpiece collector, you probably want one that says Masterpiece so you can incorporate it with your masterpieces on your Masterpiece shelf.
Right. Because it kind of reminds me of Robotech or something.
Yeah, well, it even has a mode with a mask to make it look like Robotech.
Oh, I see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because I got a figure like that, a Skyfire, He has like the little mask thing on his face, and then I got another one that's the $99 one that came out, the War for Cybertron. So I have that figure, and I'm like, okay, why don't you do that with the first figure? Ring bells.
What are you talking about? The G1 one for the first one?
Yeah, I got the one. It was like I got him for like I think it's a 35 anniversary one.
Oh yeah, Thrilling 30 Jetfire.
Yeah, I got that, and I looked at that. I said, okay, that's kind of odd. So I went back and started doing like virtual pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is like you go back and look at your figures, and then you look at your masterpiece. Now think about that on a scale. Now you're looking at what you're paying for.
Mm-hmm.
So in the future, I will be picking up that figure, but I'm not going to go to Big Bad Toy Store.
Because of the down payment?
Yep. And that's price gouging. That's the thing I was saying beforehand, because now they said that we're still in the pandemic mode. So how are we still in a pandemic mode and you got people like this scamming people, price gouging? You paying for stuff that's like $8 more, sometimes $100 more. Why? You got to ask yourself why. Is that to me, that's not okay. I get it that you can cancel a figure. So you get mad over people that's canceling stuff. Don't you find something wrong with that?
Yeah. Well, it makes me wonder, like, what sized business BigBadToyStore.com is, because I'm like, they've been in the business for a long time. They're like one of the grand old ones. Maybe if it was a small indie shop, I'd feel differently about that. But the fact that they're such like a large company, makes me wonder about that.
Well, they're here in Wisconsin. They're not too far from me. It's like 6 hours away.
Just drive down there, knock on their door, and be like, hey.
Because there's times when I went to go look at the Master of the Universe figures, you had them up there, then you took them down. Because it's the She-Ra, and then you got the I guess the cat chick or something from her line, and then you got the other dude. I can't think his name now.
Catra's the other cat.
Yeah, Catras and Hordak, and then you got another character that's coming out. And they took them down. I pre-ordered them. So you taking something down, now I got to go find it. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Look, did they sell out, or?
I think they're doing this on purpose. And the reason why I say this, because why don't you put something up and take it down to make it's a demand and want. And what I mean by that, so that means that you making a person want it more and more and more, and you have it in stock. So you take it down to see who wants the figure so bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're seeing here in the United States.
Man, I'm sure glad I don't have to really deal with that in Canada. I just pre-order my things from GameStop, and then they show up when they show up.
Yeah, our GameStop here has been on point lately.
Yeah, I started shopping there during the pandemic, and now that's where I get most of my robots that I buy online, just because they're pretty good about their pre-orders. Their pre-orders are always like late but guaranteed. They'll be like this figure's going to come out in July, and then it starts to show up in places in non-GameStop places in like May, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but at least I know for a fact that when it comes in July, I'm guaranteed they're going to ship it to me like right away.
Yep.
So I don't have to worry about it.
BBTS.
Yeah. TF Collect says Skyfire is huge, so he should be big and expensive. He's worth that price. You can't compare Commander to MP Commander equivalent. They're for different types of collectors. Yeah, Masterpiece people and mainline people. And Joe Long says, yeah, I think it's the scale as the main selling point. Jesus, I forgot people were listening to me while I was talking to Calvin. We're just chatting. You know what I mean?
It is a live stream.
Yeah. And Joe Long
Yeah,
says, and he won't
you know
have
what I
the
mean?
panel lines for better or worse. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I saw a funny picture where a thing online where they showed a picture of Siege Skyfire and then a picture of a clothes iron and then a picture of the masterpiece because like they smoothed out all his bumps.
Hey, don't get me wrong. Now, like I said, I will buy it,
Yeah.
but I won't take them out the box. I won't do it.
Oh, that's your way of doing things, and I respect that. It's a whole alien concept to me because I take everything out of the box always.
Now, it just depends.
Buy
Now.
multiples.
Oh, yeah,
Many pieces.
I did that too, and that failed miserably.
Yeah. You're just like, why not both? A box one and a takeout one.
Yep.
That's me.
I'm surprised though how that shattered glass one sold out. It sold out so fast, man.
Yeah. Like I said, like that was a gamble, and I'm surprised it paid off because like a commander of an obscure character like that, I'm like, that's a big ask, but yet it did well. I guess people just really like the concept of shattered glass.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's the alternate colors. I mean, that's what does it for me. You know, I've got multiple Jetfires, you know, from WFC because I was stupid and I wanted to buy other pieces and I could only buy in lots. And so I was like, fuck it. Why not have 5 fucking Jetfires? And then I found out that he was really good trade bait.
Yep.
I want that quote like beneath your name and 2022. It's like,
What's that?
fuck it, why not have
5 of them?
Jetfires?
It's just amazing, man, how those figures. Because here, it's a different story. They wait for the hype, and when I mean they wait for the hype, they wait for somebody to hype up a figure, and then they go after it. But for me, since I know my history on Transformers, and I've known about Shattered Glass, known about it. And that's why I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. So they going after certain figures. And I also talked about this 7 years ago. I said, watch, they're going to come out with Shattered Glass, like the opposite dimension, come to find out. People like, no, they're not. No, they're not. You're lying. You don't know nothing. And look what we got.
So here's the thing that's people are thinking about might be rumored. And if they pull this off, this will be even more insane than Jetfire. Shattered Glass Metroplex. Because,
He's coming. He's coming. No, he's coming. Yeah.
Oh, what makes you think that?
Because ain't nowhere in the world you're going to forget about either a Mega Supreme or Metroplex. Yeah. Them the only 2 Titan figures.
The plot of the Shattered Glass comic that wasn't concluded. Now they're making a sequel series. Is that they're trying to raise a Titan, right? Like it's all about like the fight for control of that, and we see its head buried in the sand, and it's Metroplex, not Cybertron Metroplex, but they could always give him a different head. So people are like, are they going to make? Is this comic that is already promoting these figures? Are they saying they're going to do a Shattered Glass Metroplex and have a Shattered Glass Titan?
Yeah.
Like, that's even more nuts. Hats off to them if they decide to actually do that.
Like I just said, man, there's more coming. So you tell me that we're going to be getting a Shattered Glass Jazz, Hound, Deep Cover. We might be getting a Dinobots.
Shattered Glass Grimlock, the old one, was Grimlock in Triptychon's colors, so that'd be interesting to see.
What would a Shattered Glass Jazz be? Like, would he be a red car and he's into opera?
Red. The color would be red and black, most likely.
Remember, a lot of these figures were old collectors club things first, so there has been a Shattered Glass Jazz. Let me pull up a photo of him. But this is an old figure, and it was a retooling of a Transformers Cybertron guy because this was like the late 2000s. Where is it here? You just share it. It wasn't too wild. it was pretty much just jazz colors. Share screen. There we go. Yeah, so that's the old Shattered Glass Jazz. It was a BotCon figure.
Yep.
And it's not terribly different, apparently, because at the time they hadn't yet put out a regular Jazz, so they kind of wanted this to sort of stand in for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it does say "kill to win" on his wheel rims, so
That's a
amazing.
perfect Shattered Glass.
yeah. So I don't know. I could see them maybe taking the Studio Series one and maybe remixing him a little bit to look more like this. Throw in some black and purple and some funky liveries.
Is that a Cyber Planet key?
Yeah,
Oh, snaps!
Yeah, because that's this was early. This is a retool of Transformers Cybertron Crosswise, I think. Yeah, Crosswise. With a new head.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, but like if they did a new one, just how Shattered Glass has been going, they'd probably take the recent Studio Series 86 Jazz and just give him a new color scheme. Oh, hey, you built your Ratchet.
Oh,
He's
nice.
Yeah, he's a complete van.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yeah, I just heated up and replaced that label.
that's the G1 or that's the War for Cybertron?
It's a
this is
G1.
G1.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that looks like crap.
What he was doing at the start of this was he had two broken ratchets and he was combining them to make like one good ratchet.
Hey, broken things are always good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and there you go. It's the weird windshield man himself.
That's right.
Yep. And there we go. Oh.
And both of them, the main bot was okay. It was the trailer was all messed up on one. It was missing a side. It's actually whiter, as in whiter, than this one, but it only had half. So here's this one. It's kind of yellowed, whereas this one's really bright.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
But I didn't want to put it together and have it look like this.
Gotcha.
I didn't want it to look like that.
Right.
Although next week, now that we're finally getting some really sunny days, I saw this thing on, I can't remember if it was Etsy or TikTok, about refurbishing white, where things have been yellowed by the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that he was doing it with PlayStations or old Nintendos. And he was re-whitening them, and it's a hair care product. And you just brush it on and put it in a bag and leave it in the sun. And the sun rays activate this hair care product on it, and it takes all the yellow off. And goes back to the original gleaming white. And I've got a couple of Jetfires that I'm going to work that on next week, and we're going to see how that works now that we're finally into sunny days. Yeah, so here's the trailer.
Nice. And he is complete. I think this has inspired me. I'm gonna start on what I said I was gonna do earlier and take this guy's head apart and add some white paint to his eyes. It's just on a ball joint, so it's really easy to get off. And I gotta split his head, which is gonna be difficult to do. I did it before, so I know it can be done.
Wait, and that's one of the and that's whatchamacallit, the headmaster, the Power Master Prime or something?
No, that's it's Laser Optimus Prime's head.
Okay.
There we go. There, see? Split it in half. So
Gotcha.
this guy, the eye sockets are empty. The eyes are here, so I can paint the eyes whatever color I want and not have to worry about coloring in the lines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna use this white Gundam marker and just stencil a little bit of white on these eyes, and then just wait
Man,
for it to
man,
dry
man.
and put it back together.
I just wish they give us a 6-shot. That's
Oh,
all
they-
I'm asking for.
Oh, they did back in Titan's
Oh,
Return.
you and me both.
They can give us that too in the legacy. I ain't complaining. I'm not complaining. Bring that figure back. I'd be happy to pay $59.99 for that, or $89. I'd be happy.
At this point, you probably would on the aftermarket anyway.
No, the aftermarket is way more than that.
Really?
Yeah, that man, you go there actually, you bargain with $89 if you want to. They're gonna turn you around and say, you better come up with more money. Yeah, man. It's bad out here. eBay too. Somebody tried to sell me a fake SS figure arts. Super Saiyan God Goku. I told dude, this is fake. Why are you selling me? I already got the figure.
Wow.
And he telling me this is legit. He said he got it from Big Bad Toy Store. I said, no, you didn't. Why you lying? And I got the picture of my figure sitting right here. Like the SS figure arts. Super Saiyan God Goku. I paid $74 for it. And dude gonna tell me that okay, this guy gonna tell me that his is real. Cause this is a real authentic one.
Nice.
This is the real one, but the one he had son Goku spelled G-O, I guess G-O something UK, some other name. I said, no, that's not Goku name. I said, what the like, little dude, man, that dude made me so mad.
So I just dabbed white paint on that. So now all I gotta do is wait for that to dry. Don't even have to get it in the lines. I just slathered that on there because it just fits through the eye sockets, right?
Live customizations on Children of Primus.
I mean, I'm not gonna.
Sunday.
I'm probably just gonna you're not gonna see the finished thing yet because I'm just gonna leave it to dry probably for like the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like it when heads are built that way because you can change the eye colors like super easily.
That's cool.
Because like I don't have any painting skills, and you don't have to. You just slather it on there, wait for it to dry, and then plug it back in. You know.
All right, so I've pieced together my notes from the chicken scratch I had.
Uh-oh.
And so for you guys and for everyone else that's watching, and I put it in the banner across the bottom.
Yeah, I've been watching it scroll.
Yes.
Transformers geek has general knowledge on Transformers. A Transformers nerd has in-depth knowledge on Transformers. Okay, that would put me squarely in the nerd category. With all the
And gets laid.
stuff.
And gets laid.
And
well, yeah, put me in the nerd category because all I on top of that, all I know is just names and stats and stories and places and people can show me a picture of a vehicle and go, which Transformer is this? And I can probably tell them like a real vehicle. So yeah, I'd be squarely in the nerd category. All I have is stacks and stacks and stacks of knowledge. I don't know how I got it. I don't know why this became a thing, but it's a thing.
well, I think I would
Because it's a passion.
It's a what?
Yeah.
It's a passion.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, once it's a passion, you dig further into it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm complaining, but it's not so bad. I have a thing that I like, and it makes me happy.
Well, I was going to say in terms of I mean, even say between myself and you, um, where more of my knowledge is within the G1 era, where
Yeah,
you have more in depth knowledge of like almost like every era, and like all the variations. So then it's like, does one step from a nerd and then become a geek to everything else? Um,
that's
it's
true.
a yeah, like so then you end up being both, where it's just like, I would be classed as a geek to the overall franchise, but
Yeah.
then within the G1 time, then I'm a nerd within that realm.
Yeah, you
Oh,
remember
gotcha.
everything that happened in every cartoon episode. I can't even do that. I
Me
remember
neither.
I remember the gist of it, but every bit of dialogue from every episode.
Yeah, like
That's
that's
incredible.
scary. Like certain
Yeah.
times I'm like, I remember like the exact dialogue from like every scene and everything, but then rewatching some, especially in season 3, there was
Mhm.
the one episode where Magnus, Cyclonus, and a few others went through the black hole.
Yeah, the inverted color schemes.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, this is actually almost like a shattered glass concept. And funny
Yeah.
enough, I don't remember that episode when it came out back then. And I'm like, well, this is kind of cool.
Mhm. Yeah, they've never brought those color schemes back, even though that's a whole line of repaints right there. It was
Yep.
Mhm.
like Magnus, Cyclonus, I think Rekgar, and I think maybe there was a couple other people.
Right.
Oh, and a lot of people ask me what glues I use whenever I'm rebuilding.
Hmm.
This.
Ooh.
It dries clear.
Epoxy.
It dries in like 4.5 minutes. And it's a 2-part epoxy. It goes in quick and it's
Mhm.
pretty cheap. I think I get like 24 packages for $8.
So you just like tear it and squirt it like a ketchup packet.
Yeah, it's like 2 mustard packets put together. It's got a
Oh.
seam. And you just tear this across the top and squeeze them both out and mix them up. And when it mixes, it turns white. When it hardens,
Yep.
it's completely clear.
Huh.
So that's how
So
you
that
know that
seems-
you've got it mixed. That's how you know you've got it mixed. Is it turns white? It turns real bright white.
Seems better than the Gorilla Glue I sometimes use, because I'll use a tiny bit of it, and then that container will be awash because the whole thing will dry out even if I shut it.
Right.
Damn.
And that's why I like these, because there's like maybe a teaspoon. Whenever you mix it all together, it's gonna be a circle about that big.
Mm-hmm. That's always
And
just the amount I need.
Yeah, the first time I started using epoxy is when I worked in a sports store. And we used to do like tune-ups and repairs to skis, and any parts on the bottoms that were kind of gouged out from like rocks or anything, we would use epoxy to fill in the holes and then sand it back and then sand it afterwards to level it off. And that's what I first realized, like learned about epoxy being 2 parts that you mix together. But this stuff is like that's in a sense like better than like any type of glues that are out there. If you want to build something solid and strong, you use epoxy.
Now see, this is both of them squirted out there. That's how much it is, which is not much. And then when I mix it, it'll turn white.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, TF Collect on Facebook is saying, a geek lives and breathes Transformers. A nerd knows too much about Transformers. You can be both. I think I'd be a bit of both. Well, I already picked nerd, but also if I was going by those definitions, then yeah, I'd probably be both, because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this is just what I do when I'm
Yeah.
not the reason that I started writing reviews was because I was already writing them in my head when I wasn't thinking about anything. And I was like, I might as well start writing these things down. It's not creativity, it's an exorcism. I'm getting them out of my brain. You know?
So there it is, white. That's
yeah,
mixed
nice.
together. And woo, is the fume strong.
Oh yes, that is true. Yeah, things you use in well ventilated
I just use
areas.
popsicle sticks as applicators. Everything's cheap.
Yeah, I tend to use toothpicks just because I usually need like really tiny bits of it.
Damn. Yep, I say I'm just both. So I just know about the G1 and the other generations. I just know like some of the things that went on and what Transform was about. And then they got to the movies. That was a literal game changer right there because I kind of put pieces together. So that's Transformers in our universe.
Mm-hmm.
And they look like bugs.
Yeah, I was not happy with that.
I'm always gonna have a soft spot for that first film because, like, remember, I was out of the game like Unicron trilogy. Like, I just stopped paying attention, and then the first Michael Bay movie made me come back in and pay attention. So I'm always gonna have like good feelings towards that one specifically because that's what brought me back. You know.
I think for many of us, that very first one, like it's just it has that soft spot for everyone. It's just, it just went a different direction after 2, 3, 4, and I think 5. But the first one was like still the best one out of all of them.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I
if you want
was
to get
excited for it until I watched it, and I was like, "What in the hell?"
Well, I mean, I know about like it's probably the best written of them, and I think that's because like that one, it had like a script that was being shopped around and worked on for like a few years, and like whereas all the other movies were written like literally in between the movies because they wanted to make new ones, right? So I think that's at least part of why the first one turned out better than the rest because they were working on that for a long time, you know.
I mean, that's scary when you say, you know, the script from the first one is the best one, and it's like even the script we made fun of.
Yeah.
And I think like the one part I was disappointed with was the truck that they chose for Optimus. When I remember seeing the first images of that, I'm like, I don't understand why they picked this truck. Like that's not Optimus. But I mean, it worked in the movie.
It kind of looks like Laser Prime.
Yeah. I was gonna say the Generation 2 reference. Hey, I had Laser Optimus Prime as a kid. That was my Optimus being thrown up there, you know?
Yeah, them was the Easter eggs, and that movie alone, that's a ton of Easter eggs.
Ooh, nice prowl.
Yeah, nice.
We have a new front tire on, and this is curing. And like I said, so you'll never see it. It dries completely clear whenever it's done, and it'll be 3 times stronger than what was on there before. And once it's actually bonded onto it, I'll open it up and take it off of it, and I'll put another layer on it.
Nice.
Oh. So my insurance is taking care of my car. Sweet.
Must be nice. Yeah, I didn't tell you all I sideswiped when I came back from California or from Vegas 3 weeks ago.
What?
15 minutes.
I got a sideswipe too.
15 minutes out of the airport in Louisville, and this guy slams into me. And he had a spare tire on his front tire, so his spare tire, his lug nuts are sticking way out from the tire, and they beat the running board off of my F-150.
Oh,
wow!
And when we pull over, he pulls over with me, which was really shocker being in Louisville. And he gets out, starts screaming that I ran into him.
Wow!
And so of course, there's no witnesses. He immediately filed. I waited until Monday to call my insurance company, and then they filed. And since he filed first, they're saying that we're denying.
Ooh.
Now, I carry full coverage on my truck. It's not going to be big. It's going to be $500 out of my pocket. But we are going to court. And then I'm going to fight every step of the way. But my truck is still sitting out there with a broken running board and his red paint stripe up the side of it.
Wow.
TF Collect on Facebook is saying, movies were great. Once I stopped harping on what I hated about them and focused on what I loved, I learned to appreciate them. TF1 is my personal fave. Yeah, I think that's how I look at them. I wouldn't call them good, but I would call them entertaining. You know, if that makes sense. Because even when they fail in ways that are interesting to watch. So, you know, straight up, right?
Well, I can only say between 2 and on up, there was in a strike or something, the Guild Awards or something.
Yeah.
And there was a strike with that. So you got to keep that in mind, that the script writing was really terrible. It was just something on the fly.
Yeah, I know about that. The Hollywood writers' strike happened early in the production of Revenge of the Fallen. So they wrote like a synopsis of what the movie was going to be, and then they had to go on strike, and then all the pre-production was done based on that like synopsis, and then the strike ended, and Roberto Orci and Alec Kurtzman, the two guys that wrote it, had like 2 weeks to make a full script, and they had to do it under the constraints of, look, we've already booked these locations, we've already designed these characters, all this stuff we've spent money on has to be in this. And so they cranked it out in like 2 weeks, and they brought in a third guy, Aaron Kruger, to help them. So I'm like, under those circumstances, it being a very messy story is interesting, because they had to write it really fast, and they had to use all this stuff that they'd already, like, the movie makers had already spent money putting together. So I'm like, that's why that's a mess. And you can sort of understand, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, you gotta go to Egypt. We have like an Egypt set, basically, stuff like that.
Yeah, it was funny though. I'm not gonna lie, that movie was kind of funny.
But then apparently the experience was so stressful that Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman left, and the third movie was written entirely by Aaron Kruger, that third guy that they brought in as a ringer to help them write the second one.
Oh,
and
wow.
Then he also wrote Age of Extinction, and then The Last Night was written by that writer's room of like 30 people. So who knows what was up with that? No, that's not an exaggeration. Remember, that was the crazy idea they had. They were like, we want to try and make a mythology. So it was like Robert Kirkman from Walking Dead was in there. The guy, I forget his name, Akiva Goldsmith, I think. He wrote some of the Star Trek movies, was in there. Like a bunch of people. And they made it like a million ideas, and they threw them in a blender. And that's how the final Bay movie got written. And that's why that's why it's so like manic with all the weird stuff that keeps happening in that one specifically.
I was gonna say that explains the that crazy butler type character. I think I only watched it once, and I haven't gone back to it. Now I feel like I want to watch it again, just knowing that knowledge.
Oh, talking with Cod, and then they introduced what's his name, Rodimus.
Yeah.
Which,
and meanwhile, Bumblebee, I'm pretty sure had just one writer. I don't remember who it was, but it was just one person again. So that's why it makes a lot more sense. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there. I just looked it up. Christina Hodgson, literally just one writer, not two, not three, not a room, just one person. Right? That's why that one is a very, very simple, very linear movie.
Makes sense.
They could have just left that out, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what they should have done, they should have brought in other like characters that existed, like Jax's. They brought in Lockdown. It was great, but the bigger villain, it could have been Jax's. Yeah. If you really look at it,
they might as well have they sure did love their obscure villains, which I give them credit for that. They could have been like, okay, well, we did Megatron. Let's do, I don't know, Shockwave. Let's do, I don't know, Devastator. But no, they're like, we're going to do The Fallen, who from a canceled Dreamwave comic book from the early 2000s, and we're going to make him the bad guy. And then they're like, Sentinel Prime, who only existed in the backstory of Marvel UK as the guy that died before Optimus Prime. We're going to make a whole movie out of him. Lockdown is from Transformers Animated from 2007. We're going to take a guy from a cartoon that started after the movies and make him the bad guy. I'm like, that's impressive. I'm like, they never went the obvious route. They always picked the weirdest, most obscure bad guys.
And it's just because, well, Lockdown's a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you could have picked the biggest of baddies. You could have just did that route, but they didn't. And this is why I said, whoa, there's a time loop here. Because if you really look at it through the movies, they lost track of time. Mm-hmm. Just like the Age of Extinction when it had the Dinobots. The bad guy could have been could have been Triptychon.
Yeah, see, that would have been an obvious one, right?
I'm like,
But they never went with the obvious guys, right?
yeah.
Was
Oh my goodness.
Collect from Facebook says or said agrees the last night writing was a disaster. But then also says,
nah, man, Lockdown was awesome. The main villains were done well. Yeah, I did like him.
I did
that
too.
movie had a lot of ideas, a lot of good ideas. Oh, another funny thing I know about the last night. So you know how they had this idea where they were going to do the Star Wars thing and put out one movie a year, but they just did Last Night and then Bumblebee and then they just stopped. The reason that in the middle of Last Night there's a flashback to World War II was because they were going to do a World War II movie. And the working title was Operation Skyfire. And they just did some posters for it. That's all that got made. So that was supposed to be a setup for that. That was one of the things this writer's room was coming up with. They were like, make us some pitches. So they're like, this World War II movie. And they're like, great, put a little preview for it in Last Night. So that's why that happened. I think the other idea that was being batted around was which might still happen, was an animated movie that was called Transformers 1 and was supposed to be about how the war got started in the movie universe. I don't know if they're going to still do that. I keep hearing they might do an animated movie still. But
well, see, that's a good concept if they follow through with that.
Yeah, but like it's all a bit null because Last Night was the first one of these to actually flop, and then all these plans just like immediately got canceled. And Bumblebee, the only reason it happened was because they'd already started on it by the time this happened. So like, well, we can't just shut it down. So then they just made it into its own thing.
Well,
instead.
I mean, again, it would be nice if whoever is involved just they look at a concept that works and just implement it into Transformers and like just look at how the MCU has look at how the overall MCU worked for all the characters, even obscure characters, which actually I find funny nowadays. When they started premiering the She-Hulk series, it shows, and I think it kind of ties in with the geek and nerd concept. It shows who's actual MCU or who's actual Marvel fans from day one or from however many years ago to people who have just in a sense jumped on the bandwagon of like, where here's all these cool movies. Now I'm a Marvel fan. And now they're like, who's this She-Hulk character? Like they just made a female version of the Hulk. And I'm like, She-Hulk character existed. Like how far back did this comic, like does that character go? Like they didn't just think of like, let's make a female version of the Hulk. It's an existing character, just not popularized as the other main ones.
I don't even read Marvel and I knew She-Hulk was a thing before there was a She-Hulk show.
One of my apprentices asked me if I had ever heard of a Marvel character named Doctor Strange.
Oh, wow.
And Doctor Strange was one of my favorite comics. And I was like, what? What did you just say, blasphemer? I've never heard of Doctor Strange. What the hell is a Doctor Strange? Oh, come here, boys. Time to educate you.
Yeah.
No, don't worry about building that bulkhead. We're not worried about that bulkhead right now. Get over here. We're going to talk about Marvel Comics.
That's crazy.
All right.
I know way too much about Marvel Comics.
I
was a Doctor Strange, X-Force, and X-Factor. Yeah. X-Men, they all came from the X-Men. I've read a few X-Men's, but usually only whenever they crossed over.
This already dried, so I plugged it back in. Check that out. See, now his eyes are like visible.
Oh yeah, it looks 100 times better.
Yeah. I forgot Gundam markers dry really quickly, so I touched it with my finger to check, and I was like, oh, okay, it's dry already.
Damn.
So there we go. This is very easy to do. A lot of Transformers heads are built like this, so. I'm still gonna blow on it just because I'm superstitious. You better actually be dry.
Wait, Anthony,
So
what were you saying about She-Hulk?
I'm sure that you all have hardware stores and stuff up in Canada. I mean, it's not like y'all don't do building and shit. But you all have a store called Home Depot.
Yep. That's in Canada, straight up.
Yep, we got Home Depot.
Home Depot is a Milwaukee dealer. Milwaukee Tool. Go into Home Depot and look at where they've got their Milwaukee stuff on display, and they'll have Milwaukee markers. There's a 4-pack that has silver, gold, green, and blue in it, and they are phenomenal.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it's like $4 for the pack.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I use for my cell shading and everything else.
Yeah, because I just use like branded Gundam markers, which I just get them off Amazon. I wonder how they compare, because I mean I only got these because they're like known specifically for like figure painting.
I'll grab some of my 40K stuff here when I go back in, and I'll show you what I detailed with the silvers and the golds.
Okay, cool.
The reason that Gundam markers were billed to me is specifically that the silver used in the like paint matches the silver most often used on Transformers. That was like the big selling point from a Transformers perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, TF Collect says I use Gundam markers too. Good stuff. Yeah. Like, I'm not an expert. I only just started doing this like this year, but they're pretty easy to use.
Yeah, these are just really, really sharp pointed Sharpies is all these are.
Oh, nice.
But they're dust proof, oil proof, water, they'll write underwater. You know, I used them in my industry before I ever thought about, hey, look at this silver one. I wonder what that would look like for highlights. And then I started using it in my 40K stuff, and everybody's like, man, how did you detail all this stuff? And I was like, I used a marker. I just traced the corners with a marker.
I gotta look into. I gotta see if our Home Depot carries it. Hopefully, because I mean it has a Milwaukee section, so hopefully it's not any issues where it's like it's only available in certain stores or across the border. But yeah, like later this week, if we pass through there, I'm gonna look for that.
They're called Marks a Lot.
Okay. Cool.
Man, I wish that our state was a little bit warmer right now. It'd be sweet. I don't know what's going on with our weather, man.
Shit, we've had 90 degrees the past couple of days. My air conditioner went out last weekend. We had to have it replaced this week. That was sucked.
Hey, you want to trade? Literally, it's like 60 something here or 77. I'm like, this is pathetic. Like, literally, I was down south last weekend in Mississippi. It was like 80 and 90 degrees. I was enjoying it, man. Literally.
Same thing for us. We're back into sweater weather.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I'm good with it because I'm a warm guy. I run hot and I sweat really easily. So, unless you want to see me be perpetually moist, I'm glad that the weather is what it is right now. You know what I mean?
I have a body temperature of over 100 degrees normal.
Yeah.
So I burn at 100.7. Or I don't get sick. Viruses can't live in my system. I get the flu for hours. That's why I wasn't really worried about. Well, I'm pretty sure that I burned through COVID in like 3.5 hours back in '99. 2019, December 2019. Something tried to get a hold of me. Something hit me, and my temperature actually jumped up to like 103 for like 6 hours.
Damn.
We were packing me in ice. We were this close to taking me to the ER. And then it just went away. And then, of course, in 2020 is when COVID became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this cough for like 2 weeks afterwards. And I think that was my body kicking that virus in the ass saying, get the fuck out of here.
It's possible.
I got over mine, but according to the doc, this cough's just going to follow me around for a while. So that's why I keep doing it.
Man.
Everything else is fine. They're like, you're just gonna keep coughing for a while. Nothing we can do about it. Drink lots of tea.
Yeah. Tea with honey.
Yeah.
Live honey with the honeycomb in it. It's awesome. You have no idea how good it tastes. Oh, best thing. It's expensive. The inflation hit us too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $9.
Oh, okay.
So I got to go to the Asian market and get like the they got the real stuff too, and there's like probably like $6 or $7.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, for a jar of honey with the honeycomb in it.
Oh
snaps!
Oh, what am I?
This is one of my Necrons.
Oh, there we go.
all the silver on it was done with one of those markers from.
Oh, nice.
And the green right there.
And the green. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah. Definitely looking into getting the set of those.
Not to toot my own horn, but like I'm still impressed at how well the white in these eyes turned out.
Oh man, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it immediately makes them pop. So.
Oh yeah.
Yes. War. I don't know if y'all know Warhammer or not, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how the game goes, but
I have an 8,000.
I've been to plenty of games workshops in my day.
Yeah, I have an 8,000 point army, which is
nice.
But this is one of the things that I turned to whenever I got out of Magic.
Okay.
I needed something else to spend money on.
Wow. See, like, I'm like, wow, you spec'd into a few things. I'm like, I just do Transformers, and like, I don't have any other thing that I have a lot of stuff from. Like I play a lot of Nintendo games, but like I don't really collect them, you know?
Right.
So, like, but you just like Magic, Warhammer, Transformers. That's like
GoBots, Star Wars,
GoBots too. Yeah.
Mask.
Mask. Nice.
Yeah.
Mask.
Okay,
D&D.
now. Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey, and I saw something that I could do in here. Whoop, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to go to camera, and I thought I saw a thing where I could flip this thing around. Mirror? Is that it? I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we've lost Mr. Magnus for a moment.
Uh-oh, he went to Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that didn't work.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Man.
Okay. See, Mask was cool back in the day.
You think I don't recognize those figures?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got another box. I just haven't found it yet from the move. But that'll all be Mask on that shelf.
Nice.
Hey, they had an IDW comic for a little while too, because they were
Oh,
one of the people in the Revolution crossover.
And then
cool. Okay.
D&D.
Oh, nice.
I had friends that were into D&D.
Now,
I've
this
played
one,
it like a couple times in my life.
This one right here, I don't know if you can read the plate on it. There's only 5,000 of them created. My uncle is Larry Elmore. And Larry Elmore was the lead artist for TSR back in the day. And he's from Litchfield, Kentucky. And he's actually like my third cousin. And, I've gone to family reunions with him and everything, but he helped me get that piece. Clyde Caldwell, which was the other artist, he actually designed the painting that piece was molded from. Like I said, there's only 5,000 of them made. And so he got me that one, and that was one of the first pieces that I ever painted.
Oh, very cool.
That's from the cartoon.
It's from the books. The cartoon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know, but if you watch the cartoon from the early '80s, that same dragon was in that cartoon.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon? That's
Mm-hmm.
Tiamat.
Okay, yeah.
In Dragonlance, she's known as Takesis. And the only difference between the two of them, they're both the five-headed dragon, they're both female, but Tiamat walked on all fours.
Okay,
Takesis walks like a human. She walks upright. And that's really the only difference in them. And Takesis also speaks, whereas Tiamat just kind of growls.
Yeah, growl. So that was Tiamat then that was in the cartoon.
Yeah. But in all the D&D realms, when you see the five-headed dragon, you run.
Yeah.
GTFO, man. I mean, just go on. That's not something, I don't care what you are. That's not something that you can go up against. That's a god.
It's just like in Final Fantasy, like, you got certain bosses. You got to be souped up to actually go up against them. If you're not prepared, they can wipe you out in one party. Yep.
Yeah. There was an old video game, Dungeons of Daggereth, for old Tandy computer, and it was kind of the same concept where like you have to fight wizards through 3 different levels of dungeons, and you have to go through like the first levels to build your character up, because if you come across one of the stronger characters, like within 2 seconds you're dead. Like you can't fight them.
Party is wiped out.
So, would you describe yourself as a geek or a nerd when it comes to Warhammer and when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons and when it comes to Mask? All these things.
Like I said, nerds get laid. Nerds get laid, and I've always never had a problem with that.
I like how you've just like vastly simplified the process.
Yeah. Well, I mean, between Transformers, GoBots, Mask, a lot of 80s cartoons, and then you jump into Star Trek, which, funny enough, I'm kind of the same thing with Transformers, where it's like I'm more G1, but not so much all the other realms. Whereas in Star Trek, I'm more Next Generation and just a little bit of like all the other ones. I mean, all the newer ones and movies, I haven't seen them as yet. Which I know like a few of them have branched off. Even including Picard, I still haven't fully watched both of the Picard series, which I know Q came back.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched the second season either. I want to, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yep.
It's just a matter of time. I haven't kept up with the new stuff just because I have so many other things going on, and there's like 4 shows now. And I'm like,
damn.
Yeah, there's only so much time, like so many hours in the day.
There.
Oh, nice! Look at that. Yeah,
nice.
Looks good as new from here.
Oh yeah.
You can't see any of it.
Yeah.
So he's real good. I was kind of nervous because evidently some of that epoxy leaked down onto his hood underneath. That's what I was doing. I was scratching the back, making sure that I could get him to open.
Yeah, because I do know tonight I will be playing the Final Fantasy, which this one.
Oh, which one is that?
Paradise.
Strangers of Paradise. That's the one.
The prequel.
It's like a beat 'em up, right?
You try to beat them up if you want to. You go up in here and play some beat 'em up, they're gonna destroy you. Get destroyed.
It's a hack and slash, I think.
Yeah. And there's a Tiamat that's in this game. You guys are constantly got to fight because it regenerates. And you got to find a way to wear the heads down. When you wear those heads down, then you can be able to beat them. And it keeps regenerating.
Yeah. I heard the reason they share so many monsters is like the original Final Fantasy on the NES just like straight up took a lot of its monsters from like the first Dungeons and Dragons monster manuals. I can't verify that, but I remember hearing that. And that's why you'll see stuff like Tiamat still showing up between the games, because they just like straight up borrowed the monsters from Dungeons and Dragons.
Now you got to keep this in mind too. You got Behemoth too. Now Behemoth is stronger than Tiamat. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
So we're
Nice
working.
and solid.
Oh, okay. You got the hood jumping off. Oh, snaps.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
The original
Yeah,
Datsun
baby.
brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And remarkably, this is very, very tight still. This is one of the pieces I picked up for like a couple of bucks in a kit because he was broken.
Oh, I need to try that because I know you can fix limbs with Pledge floor polish. I have some. I just haven't gotten around to trying it on a figure yet.
Well, how do you fix a limb with the floor polish?
What?
Well, if it's loose, it like coats the joint and makes it tight again.
Got it.
Oh.
Okay.
If you can find it, Aquanet hairspray even works better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the other solution I've heard is you can use crazy glue if you make damn sure that if it's like a joint you can remove, if you make damn sure that it's dry before you pop the joint back on.
Oh,
Right. I would go for the the floor shine or
Yeah.
hairspray before crazy glue.
Yeah. It's like then you have the opposite problem if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
You have what I had here just a second ago going, oh no! I just put them together.
That quiet moment of panic.
Well, I would say it's in our time it's a 10:10, so I think we're gonna wrap up around 10:30. Before we do, I want to throw next week's topic or kind of a question to you guys and to everyone else watching, a theory behind this one incident that happened in the Transformers the movie, in the original movie.
Oh, this
When
is something
Optimus,
I know a lot about.
Okay, let's see. When Optimus asked Ironhide to do a special run to Autobot City, what was that special run?
To get more Energon. We don't have enough Energon for a full scale cell.
Yeah.
So I assumed he was going to Autobot City for more Energon.
They were about to. They were very in the version of this where Laserbeak wasn't there. They would have started assaulting the planet from the moons shortly after Ironhide came back. Basically, yeah, that's my interpretation of it. Like they were ready to go. It's just then everything happened.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking that like that is that is what happened or how it played out.
Mm-hmm.
that is crazy. The little blocks of the pink stuff, and it's all over the place. It can be made from natural resources. It can be made from energy. It can be made from anything. That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little cage of them here from the Centurion set.
Here's a question that we need to put on here one time and get everybody's opinion on. Where did the Autobots get their cubes?
Exactly.
I know by 2005, at least the idea in the scripts for the movie was that Autobot City was a source of like natural energy because it had waterfalls, it had windmills, so that in that time period they were generating energon cubes that way. But I don't know about before that.
Cubes? No, I mean, but who makes the cubes? Soundwave makes the cubes for the Decepticons.
Right. Who made it for the Autobots?
The actual cubes that they put the Energon in. Not who makes the Energon. Who makes
it? Could be Wheeljack.
I'm just wondering if Soundwave was, double dipping.
Can Blaster do that and we just never saw him do it?
Or it could be Wheeljack. He's a scientist. And Ratchet.
Well, Ratchet has the big window chest like Soundwave, so maybe he can do the same thing.
That would be funny. Like just Ratchet and Ironhide just making like energon cubes from their chest.
So you gotta keep that in mind. Now, it's a lot of things behind the scenes they didn't, it just not being brought up, and that's what kind of bothered me too when I was watching these cartoons. Like, what the hell is this? I'm like, this is a what if, and And they doing impossible stuff. Some of them getting shot and they dead off of one hit. I say, you gotta be kidding me.
Right, Ratchet and Ironhide were both on that shuttle doing that special run. Maybe Optimus was like, I need you guys to get Energon because you two can make the cubes. Go there, make cubes, come back to cubes.
You know what? That's but think about that. It's like, okay, Ironhide and Ratchet, like you guys go off and like go make cubes, and it's like somehow I could just see people taking that story left in like just some weird, direction. But funny enough, I think the two could tie in because if some people don't remember why Optimus sent off Ironhide, then it ties into the question: who made the Energon for the Autobots?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I wonder too, because like there's so many early drafts of the Transformers the movie scripts. A lot of answers for weird things are often found there. Very often it's because something didn't make it to the finished movie, or there was something written in the script that the animation didn't portray very well. Usually when there's a question of why did this happen in the film specifically, that's usually why. A random bit of trivia: the armada of one that Cyclonus has is because he was supposed to have a whole army of drones. Like that's what's in the script, and the Marvel comic, which is based on the shooting script, also shows him having like a whole army of people. It's just that for whatever reason, when the movie came around, they just didn't animate more than one guy.
Right.
So once it got cut, it's like just which then falls into that whole other debate of like then who was Cyclonus? Because once that scene gets cut, then it's like, well, then like for however many years people were questioning, well, then who was Cyclonus built? Because then built from? Because I mean, then there's the Armada guy. Like who was he built from?
That's one that the script can't answer because we've seen the scripts and we've seen the storyboards. It was never specified who was even supposed to be among the corpses. Like the script didn't name anybody. The storyboards were very generic. So it was at the like animation stage where they put in like Skywarp, Thundercracker, the Insecticons. So that's a debate with like no clear answer because there's scenes things that can answer that question. See, this is something I'm a nerd for. I know way too much about the film's production specifically. I don't know why. I just do.
I know a lot of people. It's one of the hottest debates on any Transformers board you go to. Is Cyclonus Skywarp or is he Bombshell?
Yeah. See, I think. Yeah.
I like to think that the two lieutenants, Skywarp and Thundercracker, are who became the new lieutenants.
It makes a nice bit of symmetry. Like the blue jet becomes the blue jet, the purple jet becomes the purple jet,
But the fact that there were the sweeps, and in the cartoon, if I'm not mistaken, the highest number that they ever actually give screen credit to was number 7. Sweep number 7, do this. Right. Well, if there are, because there's all kinds of battle scenes and stuff, and we all know how people are all over the place anyway whenever the animators were drawing shit.
Yeah.
But you can count more than 7 sweeps.
Damn.
So if Bombshell actually became one of the lieutenants, that's where the sweeps come from because they're
the bugs.
Yeah, that's him making more and more and more. It's kind of like the generic guys in Prime. They have those generic clones. Right? They just kill left and right.
Speaking of that, are you guys of the opinion that that was the Insecticons being repurposed, or that it was clones and the Insecticons were still alive? That's a very common theory.
Well, the Insecticons actually make an appearance after that series. So that I don't think that Shrapnel, Bombshell, and Kickback were ever dumb enough to actually be in any battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fits their personalities.
If we can make this army of ourselves, why are we even getting into range where somebody can shoot us?
Because they were like wheelers and dealers who were like in it for themselves, so that does fit their personalities on the cartoon.
Yep. Yeah, well, TF Collects on Facebook says that Skywarp equals Cyclonus is the only answer. You know, and I still believe that Bombshell, you know, Bombshell being the sweep, because of the exact same theory that he could create all the Insecticon clones, just like he's creating all the sweeps that are clones. The one thing that ties in, and it's almost like, you know, like I don't think that the writers of the cartoon realized, maybe they did or maybe they didn't realize it. Whereas like Bombshell and the Insecticons disliked Megatron, just like Cyclonus and the Sweeps disliked Galvatron.
Yeah. So like it makes sense character wise.
All right. Right up there. There they are.
Oh, excellent display. It's the culmination of all your customization efforts.
Well, these are the G1s that survived my childhood.
Oh, okay. That's even more impressive then.
Nice.
I love the lights.
Well, actually, I'm going to correct myself. When I said Cyclonus dislikes Galvatron, it's Scourge. I forgot Scourge in the Sweeps. So Scourge would have been Bombshell, because both Bombshell and Scourge dislike Megatron and Galvatron, whereas Skywarp was loyal to Megatron as Cyclonus is loyal to Galvatron.
Yeah.
Correct.
And he can switch his conscience to all the other sweeps. Like one of them gets destroyed, and his conscience goes to the next one. He can make another one. Yep. And it's crazy, like I just said. If only they can just give us those in Masterpiece in a bigger size. If we already talking about Jetfire or where the case may be, why can't we just get these figures in the MP? I don't understand this. I don't get it. Skyfire, I don't understand. I just don't. I'm sorry.
I'm just this has to do with the movie again, but I was just remembering something because that I read in my comic book club. Did you know there's a short story in the Marvel UK comics that explains why Snarl isn't in the movie?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's in parts.
Yeah.
You see his head in a couple of spots.
Yeah. The story just kind of pretends that didn't happen and is like, here's why he's not there at all. Now, this only fit because in Marvel UK, the movie also happened. So, like, this uses Marvel stuff to explain. So, the story's set in the 90s, and Slag has a degenerative metal disease that's, like, slowly killing him. I mean, Snarl does. Sorry.
Okay.
And the Dinobots are searching for a cure. And so they travel to the Savage Land, the Marvel place where all the dinosaurs are. Because in Marvel, that's where they got their dinosaur forms. Because there's like a piece of one of their crashed spaceships that they think has the solution. It's something that they can use to transfer his mind.
Yeah.
And so they find it and they take Snarl's mind and put him in the body of a real Stegosaurus in the Savage Land. And they say, we're going to keep you here until we find a cure for your body. And they leave him there. And obviously by 2005, they hadn't found a cure yet. So that's that story's explanation for why he's not in the movie, at least in Marvel UK comics.
There's a meme, and I'm sure you all have seen it, and it has you know what I mean by chibi when I say it's a chibi drawing?
Yeah,
like the little cute with big heads and and it's a chibi drawing, and it's Snarl sitting on a toilet with a book, and you see through the crack in the door, Optimus Prime says, "Dinobots, take out Devastator," and he's going, "Oh crap," because he's caught on the shitter.
The version of the movie where he's there for a few seconds when the sweeps attack, I just like to imagine he was like, "I'm not doing this," and then he just leaves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, later on, like, we don't fight. We just go fishing.
Yeah. Oh, Calvin vanished. That's all right.
Oh, dear. There we go.
No, my phone is acting weird now. Don't ever purchase a Samsung, folks.
Aren't those the ones that explode?
Yeah, one of them.
But years ago, I think they've solved that.
I got that. That's all I remember about
I got the 21, the Ultra, and this is a piece of shit phone. I'm sorry, like literally, like
a sponsorship deal.
Fucking piece of shit.
I am very technologically backwards.
Yeah,
phones and computers are way above me. But one of my best friends is the head of IT for the local hospital here, and so he's always taking care of all my stuff. And when my job demanded me to get a iPhone or a smartphone, not an iPhone, but a smartphone, I had an iPad at the time. And everything that I used because they gave iPads at the school for the kids, so we had one at the house so that they knew how it worked, and I knew how it worked. And so whenever my boss told me it's time for you to upgrade, I'm trying to send you the addendums to your blueprint, and you can't open it on your flip phone.
Oh no!
Yeah,
flip phone.
Yeah, well, that's all. Text messaging was all I ever needed, so I had a flip phone up till like 6 years ago.
Ooh,
wow.
Nice.
My phone bill was $22 a month. Because all I did was talk and text. I didn't have any data, nothing like that. I just had this flip phone.
I miss flip phones, and the reason I miss flip phones was I like the sensation of flipping it open and then slapping it shut when you were done. That's the only thing. That's why I miss them specifically. It's like you're done your call, you do this, and it's like final.
Yeah.
But my boss was texting me, and I kept trying to open it, and it said unable to open. And so I texted him back, and I was like, "Hey, damn, that's not coming through. It says I can't open it." And so he calls me, and he's like, "Bill, are you still using that fucking flip phone?" Like that, and I was like, yeah. And he goes, "Son, I'm trying to send you the addendums to the blueprint for that job. It's time for you to upgrade if you want to keep this job." And I was like, "Well, I guess I'm going to upgrade this weekend." Wow. And so I talked to Pete, and I was like, "What do I get? What do I need? It's got to run these two programs that he showed me." And so I showed it to Pete. He was like, "Well, you've already got an iPad, so as much as I hate iPhones, an iPhone."
Uh-oh.
I just like to say
somebody was trying to call me about my car's extended warranty.
Yeah. This is the scams.
See that you spoke bad about iPhones and Siri just took over and said nope.
Oh no, I didn't.
No.
I love my iPhone. I've never had any issues with this phone. And everybody else was like, "Oh no, I like my Samsung," and I'm like, "How many times have you replaced that damn thing? I've had this thing for 7 years."
Yeah, I use iPhone.
Yeah.
Which
I
version iPhone?
I broke my screen. I broke my screen one time, and I went in, and they're like, "You've never upgraded. Here, just take this iPhone 11 for free."
Damn.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just Jess is on one of those phone plans where she gets a new phone every few years, so she just gives me the previous one each time. So that's how I've been going through them. Yeah.
But the same guy that I was just talking about, his wife chipped the side of her phone, like the plastic,
Yeah.
And it's actually the part that her case holds onto, and so her case won't stay on it anymore. And they took it in, and it's one of those Galaxy something or other.
Yeah.
And she's got insurance on it, and she's only had the phone for like 6 months. And so she sends it, she takes it to them, and they're like, well, we can't get this phone, but we can get this other, we can't get this color, but we can get this other phone. It's just like, no, I want this color, go ahead and order it. And so they're supposed to be fixing her phone, and they were like, well, we're going to send you this phone. It's not the right color, but this is the best that we can do. And you have to send us your old phone, or we're going to charge you $300.
Yep.
Well, these phones sell for like $1,400.
Right.
So they're going to wait for them to send her the new phone, and then they're going to sell her old phone for like $800.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pay the $300 fine and make $500 off of it.
Oh, the cell phones, mobile phone, like it's. I mean, when you really dig into it, you can see the little scams that the companies are running on customers like all the time. Like I argue with my company, like every few months I argue with them in terms of like cutting the rate plan or just figure out like these little odd things that they try to do with they try to either add to your plans that you don't notice or how they try to convince you that this is the better option. It never is.
I don't even pay attention to any of that. I just I just get my phones from Jess, and she pays attention to my plans. She's good at that stuff, so.
Yeah, tragically, my job demands my phone be fairly great, I guess you should say. It's got to have all the bells and whistles.
Mm-hmm.
I get addendums to blueprints and schematics and everything else, and I've got to be able to blow those up and plug them into the system to go around. Why didn't you turn off? There you go.
Dang.
All right, gents. Well, I'm going to sign on out of here. She is 9:30. Thank you for having me on the show again.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Yes, always.
And you all have a beautiful week. And I will see you next Sunday.
All right. Same to you, sir.
Well, for me, I got freedom on my hands. Yes, indeed. I got a lot of time. I got a lot of time on my hands.
Oh, vacation.
So travel begins, and I'm done working for Tom, Dick, and Harry. Okay. Yep, because of. Did you know that these people? Long story short, how can you find a reason to get rid of someone on their probation, and your union covers 30 days? So these guys have been keeping tabs on me, saying I don't like the job. I said, how you figured that? So the supervisor had his head down, so he was telling wrongful things about me. And I pay union dues. So the HR told me that I can't get my job back. And she said, I cannot file a grievance. It's in our contract. I said, man, I don't have your union book. I don't have none of the new union books or the old contract that you are giving out. So how can you fire somebody on something that's random? So I did. I come in on time, work every day, don't miss their work, and you still find a way to get rid of me for some reason because the supervisors don't like me or something? That's kind of weird.
Oh, I've seen that with quote unquote office politics. Once they start finding different ways to to kind of affect the outcome of employees, it's unfortunately the employee always gets the bad end of the stick. But to watch it, like when you see it play out and like they're not supposed to be doing things like that to someone, it's unfortunate. And like they find ways where if you either try to complain or bring in labor boards and stuff, it's like it falls within certain gray areas of the company's not in trouble. So like after a while, it's just like people are tired of working for companies with that mindset of like trying to get rid of people. Like you want to nurture the employees, not find ways to get rid of them.
And then I was like, well, I pay union dues. So what can I file a grievance? They told me I can't file a grievance. I never heard of that. So can somebody please explain me that? Is that like tell me that I have no rights? I'm just saying, it doesn't make any sense to me.
No, that does sound a bit fishy.
So that's why I was like, they can have fun with that. I get to go fishing, collect figures. I get to laugh at this company now. They got rid of a good worker, which myself. So I can walk away and say, thank you. So it's like I said, I just now realize that I can do what I want now. Yep.
Take that time to regroup.
Oh, no, I ain't no regroup. Nope, I ain't doing none of it. I learned to let things go.
Well, I meant as in
about
regroup with yourself. You know, just figure out what the next plan is.
Oh, I'm gonna go. I know the next plan. I'm gonna go in that store tomorrow. I'm going to the store tomorrow. See can I find an RC? That's the one I need to find. That's okay. There's plenty of RCs to go around. It's all right. So yeah, man, it's just things that I know these things exist, and I try not to bring it up and stuff, and I just keep collecting figures, keep doing the things I love, passionate about. I can't let these negative things get to me.
Exactly.
Not gonna so yeah, man. I said, man, in these days and times, you really got to figure out what you want to do, not what somebody else want you to do.
Yes.
This is why I'm super big on hobbies such as this one being positive forces in your life and something that you should be enjoying, because there are so many things that you have to deal with in the world that you don't want to, that the things you don't have to deal with, like this stuff, should be things that you like, that bring you happiness. That's how I look at it.
Exactly.
That's the best way to look at it.
Yeah, man. I'm surprised. Where's the rest of the group at? They didn't show up tonight.
Hey, whoever can come through, you know?
Oh, boy.
Well,
so,
you know,
man.
Well, I know if Mike were here, I know he'd have a couple of rants on that, because most likely he's either at work or on his way home from work. So I know that's there's always a story behind that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whenever he's not here, it's because something went down.
Yeah. So you know, when he's able to catch up with us, you know, I know he's got a handful of stories for us.
Oh yeah. So yeah, man, that's why I say I'm gonna just probably get up in the morning. I'm gonna probably head to far out and see can I find an RC, because I found Ironhide on the shelf. So it's everything that's coming out in the fall is coming out now, just like the G.I. Joe stuff. I'm not too much worried about that, but I am worried about the Wave 2 with Blitzwing and all those guys. That's the biggest catch. So that's why I said, man, I collect figures, have fun while I'm doing it. I don't take anything out the box. That's why I was kind of happy I got that Sandstorm, because they said that's a limited quantity. Anything with that, anything, here's the history. If they say it's a limited quantity on something, you might want to hop on it. You're not going to see it again. And this is from the Hasbro Pulse website, because my payment got declined at first because I had to switch some stuff up, and they still sent me that figure. So I got lucky. Yep. I got real lucky.
I've seen companies where they say, you know, whatever item they're selling is limited and get it now, and like we'll never print it or, you know, manufacture it again. And in a couple of years, they like they start selling it again. I'm like, so you only said that to kind of get, like that cash grab of people the first round, because then in essence it should never be sold again. Like that's what you told the first set of buyers.
Yep.
So I mean, you never know. You never know. Like, give it a few years, like you probably see it come back out again.
Oh yeah, because I had got the Generation 2 Sandstorm, the jet. I ended up ordering him, and I got him on time because they was snatching him off. Man, they was snatching this dude up and selling him for like $60.
Okay.
So I got mine from GameStop website, and then I had got the Generation 2 Ramjet. Same thing with him. I said, man, they out here selling this thing for $80. I'm like, I got mine, got it from GameStop, got it for $40. And it wastes no time. And that's why I said most of these things I get, I put them away. I don't take them out the box. And
right.
And I thought, I said, now I got 3 Redgars, which I don't need. So now I got to take one of those out the box and probably just mess with it, because I don't really like take figures out the box, because I thought I was getting junk heap. That's what I wanted.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking for him too.
So you might want to check your Walmarts. Check your Walmarts, because he's showing up there quicker than Target. Or you can check your GameStop. Yep. It just some of these things that just bring back childhood, man. That's why I said junk heap and Redgar. There should have been more of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do want that female version Junkion. If they can make that happen, oh my goodness sakes and gracious.
I'm sure they give her a proper name, but the wiki calls her Nancy because Redgar called her that in an episode of the cartoon.
Right. Okay.
See, dude, I wish the Hasbro Pulse just hired me. I could come up with all these figures, and we can buy them right on time. We ain't got to wait 6 months to a year. This makes no sense to me. Why are we waiting 6 months to a year for figures to come out? Makes no sense.
Oh, Prime Time says, I got the Earthrise Coneheads just now for $250. Oof. Well, TF Collect says Nancy needs to be made. Yeah, that'd be nice. What they need is to make a Junkion weaponizer that can come to pieces. I'm surprised none of them can do that.
That would be cool.
Cup can do that, like Studio Series Cup, but the Junkions can't. I'm surprised.
Right.
Where is he? Look at this. Watch this. Studio Series Cup. You can pop all of his limbs off.
Ooh, yep.
It's supposed to be because, like, when the squid got to him.
Yes.
And these are War for Cybertron compatible. So, like, if you have, like, I'm just going to grab this random weaponizer gun. Like, you can stick it on there because they're compatible with that system. And so the question, they should do Junkions like this because they are supposed to come apart.
Exactly.
And combine with other parts.
Yeah. So it's just kind of weird they didn't opt for that approach.
See, man, it's like they picking and choosing. And if you, like I said, if you really want to dib and dab into that 86 line, why not give us those figures? Why not give us everything that was in that movie? And it kind of baffles me that why can't we just, because there were some coneheads in that movie too.
Yeah.
It sure was. So I'm just kind of shocked, man. They're just picking and choosing.
Well, if they were to go that extra step, in terms of, like, how they missed that detail for the Junkions, if they went that extra step, they would have created characters for Kranix and Arbalest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is a Kranix. He's just super tiny. And he came in that Pit of Judgment set. Where is he here? It's a good set. It's just Kranix was kind of an afterthought. He's this big. He's a little tiny minifigure.
Can we just get a bigger size version of him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mostly because the Quintesson Judge has a little cage as part of his transformation, so you can fit him in the cage. That's why they made him so tiny. But I'm still like, this is the only time they've ever done a Kranix. I wish they'd done a little bit more with him, like at least made him a little bit bigger. Like they could have made him the same size as the Prosecutor from that set because he turned out real nice. He's a little bit bigger. He's got paint. He has joints. You know, he can take his base off. If they'd done Kranix like the same size as him with the same level of paint.
Also, so you got that War for Cybertron, that Pit of Judgment set.
Yeah, it's back. It's in the middle of my Transformers the movie display. I just because I kept the cardboard backdrop that it came with. My desk is a little bit of a mess. But it's right in the back there.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a nice cardboard thing it came with because it's got like the bridge and the and stuff too.
Man, people was going crazy for that whole set. Like they had the Quintesson, the War for Cybertron. They had that. Man, I was surprised how the way that was flying off the shelf.
Yeah, it's a good set. Like I never got the single packed ones. I just got the Judgment set, and I'm like, oh, environment here.
I can't even find it no more. If I can find, I buy it.
Yeah, and as you just give me an excuse to show this off again, this is one of my favorite gimmicks ever.
Oh yes.
There's a crank on the back that you pull, and then.
Dude, I wish that thing could freaking talk. That'd be so. Oh man.
Well, some of the jaws can move.
Guilty.
Yeah, like
innocent.
Innocent. Yeah, but yeah, not a bad. Like, I know Mike Orlotti has the single packed one, and its colors are a little bit different. But yeah, I just got the version there with the backdrop, and it comes with those little guys, and it comes with a Prosecutor that's an Alicon with a new head.
Yep.
Yeah. Just a nice set of things, and a little Sharkticon. The bigger one wasn't out yet, so they repainted the Titans Return one.
See, I have the single pack one, and then I have the Alicon too.
Yeah,
the single pack one. People was going nuts over there, and I walked to my Walmart.
Yeah,
they had a whole case on the pallet.
I get one, which is a shame. Because I'm like here's the Prosecutor, and like he's a real good version of this guy. Different head for other different parts. He's like a random guy, but he's like a shockingly good figure. He's like really posable and like really expressive, and he just has like a good energy to him.
Like that's a good looking character and a lot of detail for that character. I mean, it's like a side character in a sense.
Yeah, all the I said this at the time because I did a review of the set. All the movie characters were designed by Floro Dairy from the ground up, right? Instead of being based on anything. And all of his characters he designed have a really specific style to them. So like this guy, like the way his head looks, the way like his shapes and stuff, like this is a really good looking interpretation of like how Floro Dairy designed his robots, you know?
Got it.
Yeah.
Nice. And
also, here's the little Sharkticon that it came with too. It's just the Titans Return one again, but you know, it was a fun figure. I had the Titans Return one also, and I'm like, any excuse to get one of these guys is fine. I didn't get the Studio Series one because I already had this one and the Titans Return version. I'm like, these are fine. This is a good little guy. I don't need another one.
No, it looks cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's my quick run through of that whole set for some reason. I don't know. That's what's in the box.
I got the Studio Series. I got 5 of them.
Yeah. You have the what now?
I got 5 of them. Those Sharkticons, the single pack ones.
Oh boy, the Studio Series ones.
Yeah.
Oh geez.
Yeah, there's some little devils, little boogers. I wish I had one in real time. That'd be awesome. Yeah, man. I just tell them like it is. Pit of Judgment too. Yeah, you guilty.
Well, I say we should call it an evening. Anthony, what do you have for us for tomorrow?
Well, hopefully this guy,
Hopefully for
Laser
tomorrow.
Prime. Yeah. If I can finish writing his thing, I have a lot of things to say about him. That's why I took all the photos before his eyes were painted, so you're not getting the cool white eyes. I,
Ooh.
I got some notes. I got to finish writing it. Hopefully, it'll be up tomorrow. Probably not in the morning like it usually is. But, it will be there.
Cool.
So this is why I miss running out of my Retrobot reviews, because if I couldn't get something done, I'd run one of those instead. So there'd be something there anyway.
Right.
But nope, I'll get it done for my own personal sense of satisfaction. And next week, I have a Studio Series Brawn that's supposed to arrive in the mail tomorrow, so maybe I'll make him my next one.
Nice.
Oh, that's a good figure. I have him.
Yeah. I've heard he's the best of the Bumblebee guys so far, so I'm interested in having a look at him.
Dude, if they can just make him just a tad bigger, he is a force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm. Well, half of the appeal of Braun is that he's a tough guy who happens to be really short, so I think that the small size is part of the appeal to me.
I think he's like Ironhide on steroids. Sucks, man.
He's like a little guy that's like full of pep, even though he's short. He's like, come on,
But you
that's
gotta
Braun
remember,
to me.
in season 2, he was
Yeah.
able to lift up, hoist, and grapple while they were encaved in a concrete in like case. So imagine that you're lifting a crane, a tow truck, and a cement block that can fit a crane and a tow truck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no kidding.
We just never got to see much of him, which is a shocker.
Yeah. TF Collect says, enjoyed today's topics. Great show, gentlemen. Thanks for sticking with us.
Yes, thank you.
I like I said earlier, sometimes I ooh. Yeah, there you go.
The hidey little small aggressive guy.
Yeah. I love the design and energy of this guy. That's why I'm eager to get mine in the mail. This is just like a good version of Braun, just in general.
It's crazy, man. Look at the freaking red guards that I got. I got 3 of them now.
Wow. I only got the one, which I reviewed.
And then I got 2 of these guys, which I don't need.
Oh,
So yeah. So I'll just sit here like I done got so many things that came to me. I just like say, I don't know, I might just give it to someone who don't have Transformers or something. Or just donate them to a cancer thing or something.
It's always a good thing to do. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I got going tomorrow and next week on childrenofprimus.com/news and reviews.
So yeah. I think next week I think I might have RC. Who knows?
Oh, I would be so jealous. I'm looking forward to that one. It's not nowhere near my country yet.
Dude, that is a dope figure.
Some live reveals for next week's show.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that we get the rest of those shattered glass figures.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hoping for. That's the key right there, because that's going to be the key seller now, because that comic book, I think it's a cartoon series coming out, if I'm not mistaken.
First I heard of that.
Oh, that would be.
I know they're doing a sequel comic, like I said. It's Shattered Glass 2. That's been solicited and everything.
Oh, is it through IDW?
Yeah. Apparently they're just going to squeak it in under the wire before the license is out.
So now I got to go I got to go to Source tomorrow then and figure if they may have the comics in stock or not. Because I got the ones came with the figures. Those it's various copies, so I don't know if it could be the same story or the same first copy.
It's supposed to, yeah. It's supposed to still, like, there were 5 figures in that first series, and there was 5 issues of the comic. So yeah, I think they're going to do the same thing again.
So are they different comics then for each one?
Yeah. It was a 5-issue mini. The first Shattered Glass was a 5-issue mini series, and like each issue was packed in with one of the figures, in addition to being released singly. Like the figures just had like variant covers, but they were the same issues.
Okay, gotcha.
Like Shattered Glass issue #1 focused on Blur, so there was a version of that with a different cover that came packed in with the Blur figure and like so forth.
Okay, gotcha. I got all of those.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, if you have all the figures, then you have all the issues of that comic.
Sweet. So yeah, man, I can just tell everybody, just subscribe, watch the show, hit that click button, because we all collect Transformers. Everybody's welcome to come in. I'm just saying, if you got some opinion, got some advice, just click the button or just put the comment down in the section. We'll answer for you.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Right. If you don't, that's what's going to happen to you. Click and subscribe. See that? Those are my allies. Yeah. And they do bite. See Venom? Yes, he do bite. Or when you subscribe, you get to see that. See that? That's a nice lady right there. She's angry. But she do good things. So I'm just saying in general, those are options.
Best sales pitch I've ever seen in my life.
I'm just saying, click and subscribe. Or there's consequences.
My God.
The Dinobots will come and dynamite you to pieces.
Oh, don't make me bring up a picture next week about that too.
Okay.
I got to get that picture. I still have to get that King Grimlock, that masterpiece, man. Shucks, man. That thing is pretty. Yeah.
So
I know one of you guys will track it down at some point.
Hey man, it costs a little chop change, man. It costs way more than that Skyfire that's coming out. I'm just saying, y'all might want to click and subscribe.
Yeah.
And put the comments below the section. That's all I can tell you. You never know what you might see. You might see a new Transformer figure that you might not see before. I'm just saying. So yeah.
All right.
That's all I got to say, man. It is Sunday night, going into Monday, the case may be. We all got something to do. We all got a $1 billion mindset. That's all I'm just saying.
And then, thank you for jumping on once again. And peace to everyone. And shout out to Professor D. We've been missing you for the last couple of weeks. We gotta track him down as well, along with Mike.
Well, you got saying Ravish behind him there. I think that'll close in the gap between everything, don't you think?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, a good night to everyone, and thank you for everyone coming through, and for watching.
All right, guys. Y'all take it easy, man.
All right, you too.
All righty.